Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever signed. Right here.
You are a one-on-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Okay, so we got a special show here with us where we have the Tate brothers lawyer, Joe McBride, that's going to join us at the 10-hour mark and tell us what's really going on, the latest update, the stuff that maybe nobody's talking about or thinking about. We'll get into that here shortly. There's a lot of things that's going on. One, Ryan Clark just got fired from ESPN. Bunch of speculation. ESPN fired a bunch of people. Cam Newton, Ryan Clark, Carl Ravitch, who I never thought would get fired. He's been there for 33 years. And then Tim Tebow got a raise, and he got a new contract. And then John McAfee is about to go to get paid. Vinny, you ready for this one? They're going to pay him $60 to $65 million per year. McAfee is what he's going to be getting paid. So people are wondering, is ESPN realizing this woke stuff is not working and we're leaving it? Who knows? We'll talk about that. At the same time, there's this girl that goes like this. You know who I'm talking about? She puts her finger like this. Sophie Cunningham.
I love her.
Who is calling out common sense of not wanting men to be in women's sports and protecting young girls. And I saw this commercial because Megan Rapinoe, you know how it is. She's your favorite. She was on she was on The View. And when she was on The View, she's saying all this stuff. And then this young girl is in this commercial. I don't know if you've seen this commercial or not. This young girl is in this commercial, and she asks the most magical question of Megan at the end of the commercial. Moms, dads, you have to see this commercial. She destroys Megan Rapinoe, this 10, 11, 12-year-old girl. With one question, she destroys her. Anyways, we'll get into that. New Jersey, if you guys remember last week when Trump gave the speech, and he said there was going to be some election fraud and people doing different things. Well, guess what? News was about to drop in New Jersey that they accidentally, allegedly, you know the key word, allegedly, accidentally gave away 6,600 IDs to illegals, of which 400 voted.
Pat, come on.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
400 voted. I mean, of course, there's no election fraud, but
no.
In Jersey there is. And Jake Tapper said, you showed it this morning. He says, I mean, if you know you're illegal and you're getting an ID and you know you shouldn't vote, why would you vote? Why did you vote?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody. Why would you steal? Why would you commit a crime? I mean, can you imagine how bad you have to be for Jake Tapper to get Hunter Biden to hate you?
Yeah, you're messing
up. You made
up.
such a good point this morning. I'm like, Hunter Biden hates Jake Tapper.
He loves everybody else.
I mean, come on, Jake. Make some friends, buddy. Maybe go read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Well, you have to work hard over the weekend to make that happen.
Well, he's definitely crushing and losing friends. And then you have this one game. I posted this. A lot of people are like, Pat, you're wrong, Pat. I don't agree with you, Pat. And I'm open to it. I'm going to go read through the comments. But this man at a Cubs game is looking at this other fellow who is not standing up. And what does he do? Wham! Smacks him upside the head. And I called him a patriot. And a lot of people said, Pat, I dare you. I wouldn't stand up to the national anthem and see what would happen if you would have smacked me upside my head. Okay, you shouldn't be do something like that and promoting something like this. So is this guy a patriot or not? I'm going to show you the clip. He's from Chicago. You know, Chicago is different. They stand up when they're playing the national anthem. And these two other guys are like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He doesn't need to stand up to that. Maybe we'll have a friendly debate over that. Iran, very interesting things developing with Iran. Trump came out and said, for every ship you hit, I'm going to destroy one of your bridges, and I'm going to hit you at places where it hurts. Every single time you do it. And while I'm reading this to you, you know what Iran just did? Iran strikes on CIA facilities, prompt questions about whether Russia was involved. And on top of that, there's something going on with Houthis. Say they attacked Saudi's tankers in the Red Sea, threatening new choke point in Iran war. And Tom has a complete different thing that he thinks going on with Saudi, because Tom's idea is Saudi is trying to use this as the leverage point for them to go get nuclear weapons. I will let Tom describe that to you, why he believes that. And while all this stuff is going on, guess what, Iran? They're just on a regular day. It's not a big deal. I mean, they're such nice people at IRGC, noble, peaceful. Iran executes 2 young men for offering help to fleeing anti-regime protesters. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
For opening their front door to people that were screaming, running down the street.
Not a big deal. Let's just support how great IRGC is for some of the people that do that. New polls came out. You know who's not happy about these polls? A guy who lives in California who's got the biggest job, who doesn't show up to work. He calls in sick every day pretty much based on his performance. And that guy's name is Newsom. And a poll came up showing how much he's dropped off in the last 9 months. Numbers are staggering. And guess who's climbed up? A girl named AOC. And this is real. Now, if you're going to be like, AOC would never be the primary for the Democrats and all, no problem. I have an argument for you. Tom's got a heavy one as well to go through with that. It's unbelievable what's going on with AOC, Newsom, Ossoff, some of the other names that are coming up. Tom thinks it's going to be Ossoff. I think it's going to be AOC. I mean, we'll fight it out on what happens there. And then Nicaragua, a noble man. President, dictator, communist, all that stuff that a lot of people in New York City like. He came out and he said, there's going to be no more elections in Nicaragua. Done. We're not doing any more elections. Why not? We're just not doing it. We know America's trying to get involved and bring such things as freedom of speech and allowing people to vote. We're not doing that in Nicaragua. This is not going to be happening. Maybe we'll get into that story. And then I got a couple other stories that are interesting stories for us to hit. I know you have one thing you want to talk about with Hassan Piker.
Oh, yeah.
And then there is a story by Chipotle COO who his job involves taste testing guacamole. That's what he does for a living. He has a simple hack for finding your dream job. And I absolutely love his advice. Then there's one thing about prenup protection that has nearly doubled in the last 6 years. This one feature on prenups has doubled the last 6 years. If we have time, we'll get into that. And last but not least, there is this thing that Gen Z is doing on interviews that people think is very disrespectful. It's incredibly disrespectful to do a virtual job interview by phone. What do you think? Yes? No? We'll talk about that. And with that being said, to all the small business owners, those in sales, those who are executives, those who run their own businesses, next week, July 29th, we're hosting our networking event at our property. Show the entire tour of the, what we have. How many employees? You're going to see stuff that nobody sees. I can't tell you how many times people say, I want to really see what goes on over there at the company. They think it's just a podcast. Then they come to the headquarters, they get a tour. They're like, wait, you guys have this many engineers? What do they do? You guys have these many consultants? This is the studio? Yes. I never knew you guys did all this stuff. So if you want to come down and get a tour and spend 3.5 days with us at the Vault Conference next Wednesday from 6 to 8, to anybody that purchased a ticket that's going to the Vault Conference, general ticket or platinum, you'll get networking a chance. You'll be in our hangar. It's a very cool little spot that we have. To anybody that's an executive, you get a tour in the entire facility. Founders will get a tour by Tom Ellsworth. You'll get a chance. There's nothing like hearing 50 dad jokes from Tom with a 20% success ratio, but he'll give you the
17.5.
He'll give you the tour of the entire facility, and if you're a CEO ticket holder, I'll give you the tour of the entire place, my office, executive field, all that stuff that we'll go through. So with that being said, play this clip. Go for it. There you go. If you haven't purchased your tickets, go to vault2026.com. Get your ticket, vault2026.com. Get your ticket. For some of you guys that will bring your entire team, there's options to buy 5, 10, 15, 20 tickets. We have a guy, I think, from France that's coming with 300 people. He's bringing a business is coming from France, I believe, with 300 people. So looking forward to seeing you guys at the Vault Conference as well as next Wednesday at the property, getting a tour. We'll have a good time together. I'm sure you'll do a lot of deals with people that are there. With that being said, let's get right into it. Stories. Which story do we want to get into first? I say we start off with New Jersey that just announced the governor out of nowhere comes out. The president's given a speech last week, and then all of a sudden we're like, I'm sorry, what just happened? Text message. The governor of New Jersey just came out and said they accidentally gave 6,600 IDs to illegals and 400 of them voted. Wait, what? Didn't NBC, ABC, CBS said that last week when the president was speaking? We're not going to showcase what he has to say because the president's going to say some stuff that's damaging to election integrity. Really? CBS, NBC, ABC? Really? And by the way, just so you know, the government's sitting there saying, how the hell are you not playing a clip by the president? And now you show this, that this just happened. So I want you to play this clip of the governor. You can hear it from the governor what she has to say. Here's what took place in Jersey accidentally. Of course, they would never do this on purpose. Accidentally. Go for it.
A serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state.
Right.
Some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway.
Okay, so I thought softwares like Dominion don't screw up.
No, they never.
I thought softwares
No,
like this DMV.
No.
Wasn't this like a perfect, flawless, the first ever system they created
not a
that
glitch,
nobody
it's a
can hack
feature.
into? And
Nobody can
So,
touch
Vinny,
it.
what's really going on in Jersey?
Well, the main thing is, and Tom made a great point this morning, is the only reason this is happening, that the governor is coming out and saying this, Pat, is because she's getting out ahead of it because of Trump's speech about China and election interference and all that stuff. That's the only reason she's coming out, okay? And the numbers are even worse. DHS and even Trump, Humberto, I think you have the actual Truth Social post from the president. The numbers indicate that there were actually 35,152 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey, not the 6,600 that she's talking about. And the numbers are more than enough to decide an election in multiple states, okay? And Pat, this is the main reason that the Democrats have spent, I think up to this point, over $20 million trying to fight and not hand over the voter rolls to the DOJ, okay? That's why the Save America Act is so freaking important. And another one, you know the software vendor that she's talking about? It's called Idemia, I-D-E-M-I-A. They come out and stated that it was not a software glitch. Umberto, you have that as well? According to the company, the state of New Jersey approves non-citizens who register to vote.
Wait. Go back up 7 seconds.
Yes.
You just said Idemia came out and said it's not on them?
This is them right here. Idemia works for the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission and has for more than 40 years to support the process through which eligible individuals may indicate their interest in registering to vote when applying or renewing the driver's license or state-issued identification card. Idemia's role is to transmit information through the motor vehicle system. The voter registration information is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections, which is ultimately, this is where they're saying, it's on you, homegirl, responsible for verifying eligibility to vote. Information submitted to Idemia must still be validated and adjudicated by the Division of Elections.
Can you do me a favor? Hit that grok button at the top and say, is this true? Can you click on that and just put, is this true? And let's find out on what they're saying. If that's the case and they said that this isn't on us, it's on you, don't throw us under the bus.
That's them.
That's embarrassing.
Yes.
If that's really what took place and what was said. Yes, the court details of everything are accurate. Boom, 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 400 of them. Idemia statement matches. They are transmitted. Okay, so it is true on what took place. Okay, please continue.
And Pat, this just hit me. Is it strange that, mother, I hate the word irregularities or glitch. And is it just me or all these glitches, all these irregularities always favor the Democrats? Is that weird? Like, is it just me? I've never heard it go to the Republicans, and we've been doing this. I've been working here for over 4 years. I've never heard it happen. And I want to point something else, Pat. And this is just, just a little step back. In 2020, and I think one of Trump's lawyers was fighting in Congress for it. His name was Jesse Bennell. He provided evidence that just in Nevada, 4,000 illegal immigrants voted, 1,500 were dead, 19,000 were non-residents to vote, 42,000 people in Nevada voted more than once, 8,000 ballots came from non-existent addresses, and 15,000 ballots from vacant addresses voted. On top of that, Giuliani, who they owe a freaking huge debt of gratitude, and if I was him, I'd be trying to go legally after them for what they did to him. He exposed in Georgia in 2020, Pat, 96,600 mail-in ballots that were voted, yet no county records, chain of custody showing that they even received them back then. And that's Biden's majority of victory in Georgia was only 11,779. So here's my thing, Pat. Donald Trump, okay? has been president for a year and 6 months, Jake? I think we talked about it before. We own the presidency. We own the House. We own the Senate. Supreme Court is majority Republican, and they're supposed to be in charge. How are things like the SAVE Act, Tom, not being pushed and not being pressed? And Humberto sent me a video, and I showed it to you this morning, of Trump when he was asked about China. You know what he said? Like, they're like, hey, are you going to go after this? Are you going to play this clip? This is the president, and I do not like this attitude at all. Play this clip.
Meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Mr. President, are you planning on putting any pressure or consequences on China for what you announced about them meddling in the 2020 election?
Well, we're going to talk to them about it. It took place a long time ago. I think China is maybe a little bit different today than it was then. But look, they do things and we do things to them. I'll be honest. We do things to them too. It's not a one-way street. But we'll be talking to them.
Okay, Pat, and I'm sorry. And again, all the stuff that I voted for, and I don't want vengeance. I don't want none of that. I want accountability. And unless he has a trick up his sleeve, letting China get away with everything from COVID to election interference, to where he was furious because 2020, he believes, and I believe that they totally stole it from him, okay? And now we're supposed to act like, well, we do stuff with China too. We don't mess with China's elections. They don't have elections. It's just the dictator, and that's it. So it's very, very frustrating, but the left has just been exposed. There's never irregularities. Can you show Jake Tapper's too, Pat? Is it okay?
This is
Jake Tapper saying, like, look at the unbelievable.
Sure.
Guys, Mr. Bestseller book, which is not a bestseller, look at his attitude when he's asking about this cheating. Go ahead.
If you're in the country illegally and you get a letter saying that you can vote, and you know you're not supposed to, not only you're not supposed to vote, you're not supposed to be there, why do you vote? You get registered for a party.
Oh, you know why?
I mean, but I just wonder,
you're in a store. Those products are not yours. Why did you steal? Why did you steal?
Yeah.
You know you shouldn't kill that person. Why did you kill them? Let's question why criminals do what they do. Oh my, what an incredibly nice place you live, Jake. Yeah. Isn't that great that everybody gives you a list and a report and teleprompter? You just go to work. Awesome. That's not reality.
That's an Academy Award for the worst and weakest gaslight of the 2026.
Do you have what Hunter Biden had to say about Jake Tapper? Do you have that clip?
If you have it.
If you just type in Jake Tapper, Hunter Biden. I don't know what Jake did to Hunter, but he was just on a podcast. Two-piece. There you go.
Hunter Biden, chairman of the Jake Tapper fan club.
He was not.
No, I don't know if this is this one.
Yeah, complete utter asshole. That's the one I think.
Yeah, this is it.
Watch this. Go ahead.
Were you friends with Jake Tapper? No. Well, I knew Jake forever. I've known Jake for 25 years. How'd you feel about the book? I think that Jake is a complete and utter asshole. I think that he is a really poor journalist. And beyond that, I don't think
he's a crackhead.
You can't even win him over.
You can't even win that guy over.
So, Tom, where are you at with this, with Jersey? How big of a deal is this? And why, I guess the part that Vinny asked, which is the most important part, why isn't Trump coming out touting and using this and saying, I told you there was election fraud. I told you they're doing this. And instead saying, well, we do stuff to China as much as they do to us.
Well, I separate it into two camps. One is the China thing, and I would have liked the president to be a little bit stronger on that statement, frankly. But now let's go back to this. What my opinion is, I agree with Vinny on the whole waterfall, the argument that he made, and I want to point something out. Look how simple it is once you get inside the system. One checkbox could indicate, hey, I want to register to vote, don't want to register to vote. But here's the other thing you can do. Now that you have the data in there, corrupt people inside a Department of Elections, Pat, can identify the check mark and say, hey, look at all the people that have temporary IDs or even driver's licenses in California, because illegal residents, illegal aliens can get a driver's license in California. Now you can look for that check box in the stack of data, Pat, and just automatically send stuff to them. Send a mail-in ballot to them. Send something to them. Register them. It shows you how easy it is to get into the data, identify the people that you believe are going to be likely voters. And Jake Tapper, why are they voting? Free cheese, free phone, free rent, free medical services.
Just vote Democrat.
Free works pretty well, Jake.
Yeah.
So that's what I think, Pat. This shows you how easy the software underneath not only can be corrupted, but once the data's out there, I can now reach into the data and say, hey, Pat, look, I just found 6,000 people. Let's just find a way to send them a mail-in ballot. There you go.
Can I ask you a question, Tom? You're the president. How do you deal with China with their history of what you've done? They unleashed COVID. They have spies in the United States. They're buying up land. They do all this stuff. They're helping cheat elections. They're arming Iran with ballistic missiles. They're helping them. How do you deal with China with the enemy that they are? What do you do?
Well, as long as they don't float a balloon over our property or something.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's
I forgot.
Yeah, they did that, Tom.
Well,
how would you deal with that?
I just think it should be a little bit, I'd like to see it a little bit stronger on the response because, now, what do we know now? We know two truths, and you can't deny them. All of the flaws that was in the reporting and the accusations of Russia, the Steele dossier, everything. You don't even have to go A to Z. You could say Russia was a fraudulent claim against a presidential candidate, period. Now you can also say, because remember, many things can be true at once, China had its finger in there too. So it does show you our superpowers, Pat, reaching around the world trying to screw with each other.
I have an idea what Trump. So have you guys read Regime Change yet?
No.
Or have you started yet?
No.
Okay. So Regime Change is the book that was written by these two New York Times reporters that just crossed 500,000 copies sold already, which is going to be the #1 nonfiction book of 2026. They're doing very well.
And it looks like real numbers.
Yeah, it's
steadily
real,
growing.
No, it's real numbers.
Great
it's real
reviews.
Numbers. Yeah, I'm reading the book, and it tells you everything with the relationship of the president with with Tucker, the fights with Susie Wiles and Dan Bongino, with Epstein, how they mishandled it. It tells you the stories of those guys. Remember when they held the folder with Epstein when they
Epstein files
and it explains one time in the book where the president asked J.D. Vance to use specific words to go out there to make it seem like they're all on the same page. I need you to use these words. I need you to use these words. And there was also a moment where he got upset with Tulsi because he told Tulsi, well, if you want to be a president, you're not working here. What do you want to be? You want to work for me or you want to be a president? If it's president, don't do it here. So that was a falling out. And then she came back and said, Obama's doing this. If you read the book, you'll notice a pattern of the president doing things like this. He'll get out there, throw stuff, bash you, forces you to call him. Then when he call him, he says, look, that was my way of getting a hold of you. What do you want to do now? So was this his way of getting up there, forcing China to give him a call? Like in the book, it tells a story about NVIDIA at the beginning where everybody said, there was a moment where in the book it describes it, what's NVIDIA? What do they do? And they sat down and explained what NVIDIA does. And said, this is the sexiest company in the world with the most power right now. And NVIDIA wanted to sell chips to China because he didn't have it. And guess who he needed to be able to sell to China? He needed the president. He brings him in. They have a meeting together at Mar-a-Lago, okay, with the NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there, and he's trying to win him over. Jensen's trying to win him over. And Trump realizes, look, we don't want to sell chips to China to make them strong. But guess what? China needs NVIDIA.
Of course.
So this was his leverage on a way to negotiate something he wants with China. And then he gave him the deal. So whatever the negotiation was. So to me, I think he's going here doing this because behind closed doors, there's a lot of talks with China that we don't know about. And I don't know what's being negotiated right now. The one story that came up with Iran, remember the biggest thing right now, the biggest thorn in his, that he's dealing with right now is what? Iran.
100%.
And who is typically defending Iran? China and Russia.
Yep.
So is there something he's saying, hey, stay the F out of this one with me and Iran. Let me kind of do my own thing. I can see him doing that. So it's like, hey, if you touch me here, I'm going to keep telling them how much you're meddling in our elections, and I'm going to keep blasting you nonstop 24/7. So I think he's playing the Trump game.
Okay.
I think that's what he's doing. Believe me, I think that's what he's doing. And he has a very unique way of pissing off his base constantly. But at the same time, did you guys see the CNN poll that just came out with Harry Enton?
I didn't.
Did you see? Do you have that clip, Humberto? So they came up with a poll.
Okay.
That shows the favorability of Trump today compared to Obama and compared to Bush and compared to others. Look where he ranks. Pause it and go back, please. Watch where he ranks today on his second term. Go for it.
21st century own party approval rating, about at this point a second term. We got Trump, we got Obama, we got Bush. Look, they're all fairly popular, but the one who is the most popular, and we have seen this time in and time out, no matter when you look, is Donald John Trump. He's the only one who's over 80%. 83% of Republicans still approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing
more than
as
Bush,
president.
second
He still
term.
has that magic touch. We'll see if it carries over to
So
South
you
Carolina.
can pause
but
it
we've
right
seen
there.
in primary-
You know what that means. And by the way, can you check to see what the date on that is? What is the date on that? That's a couple days ago, right? That came out. Just ask on Grok whether that's a couple days ago or not. I think that's a couple days
And Pat,
ago.
the source is Enton's aggregate. What does that mean?
No. It's a legit source, Vinny. This is not something that they're not doing.
Enton is him, and the aggregate is a database that he carries at CNN, which is shown to be very
Accurate.
straight.
Okay.
Here's the point you have to realize. It's CNN, so it's probably even higher than 83. It's probably 87, 88. You're taking what they said. It's probably 87, 88. So where am I going with this? Trump looks at that number. You know what he says? To all the 17% that are complaining, I got 83% more than ever in the history. You guys can bitch and whine all you want. I know what I'm doing. He's not listening, paying attention to you.
Of course.
At all. When I say you, I don't mean you.
I know what you mean.
I mean the people in the camp that are not happy. He's like, you know what? I got 83. Go ahead. Say whatever you want to say. Here's what we're doing. So that's kind of what I think he did with China and how he handled it. And he's trusting his own instinct. Adam, your thoughts on this?
So, greetings from Jerusalem, ladies and gentlemen. I thought that Vinny absolutely crushed that segment. I thought he was absolutely right. If I was campaigning with Vincent, I would say I approve this message. Regarding the SAVE Act, I don't understand why it's so complicated. When you have 80% approval rating across the country, that should be an indication that you try to get that passed. And last thing, I totally agree with Pat as well. Don't watch what Trump says, watch what he does. So they often say, don't take Trump literally, but take him seriously. I think there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And he's moving mountains and we think he's just basically causing chaos. But I thought you guys crushed that segment.
That's all you had to say? I love it. Just say you have no comments. I would have moved on. We would have saved some time. But thank you, Adam.
I appreciate you, Adam.
For once in his life, had nothing to say. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next story I want to get to. Next story I want to get to, since we're already here, is what's going on right now with Tate brothers. Okay, so we have Andrew and Tristan Tate's lawyer here with us, Joe McBride. Joe, thanks for making the time for being on here with us. I know the crew's going to try to show the video so the audience can see it. Hey, Joe, can you hear us and see us?
Yes, I can hear you and see you. It's good to see you, and thanks for having me here.
Of course, anytime. So we got the report. We saw the video. We saw Andrew wearing that beautiful purple shirt that he had on when the U.S. Marshals walked up towards him. And then all of a sudden, we saw the numbers coming out saying he is facing with 42 new charges himself. Tristan, 17, 59 criminal charges. And we saw that. The question I wanted to ask you is for U.S. Marshals to come. We know Andrew made some strong remarks towards the Governor DeSantis last time he was on with us, and there's not a relationship there. There's not a support there, whether it's the governor or Huthmaier, but and even Huthmaier. I think James Huthmaier made a comment on Twitter about it as well. But this is U.S. Marshals, so for this to happen, is this a federal thing that's working with UK to help get Tate's, or is it a state thing?
Oh, it's a federal thing. So anytime you have an extradition warrant going to an international country, it's exclusively going to be held within federal jurisdiction. That's just the way it works as a matter of law. Now, typically in these situations, when you have an ongoing relationship, for instance, a year or two ago when the guys first arrived here, there was this big announcement. DeSantis got on stage and talked about Andrew and Tristan as if they were not American citizens. They had egg on their face afterwards. But I reached out to the statewide prosecutor's office. I said, here, I'm available. I've worked with him over time. There was a criminal investigation that we dispensed with. And I said, hey, listen, if you ever get into a situation where you want the guys, or if there's a warrant and they need to surrender themselves, just let me know. Everybody knows. You just come to me, you let me know. They're not running from anything. They're two of the most famous guys in the world. We'll surrender. We'll come in. It'll be nice. It'll be quiet. It'll be easy. So what happened was a dog and pony show. This could have been avoided. They set these guys up to make it look like the worst possible PR stunt in the world. When they were arrested by the marshals, look, the marshals did their job. They were professional. They were courteous. They rolled up on the scene hard body, but that's what they do. They didn't take Andrew and Tristan's phones. They didn't take their electronics. Andrew had $2 million worth of jewelry on his neck. He was able to give it to one of his friends. They conducted themselves with honor. It is the people behind the scenes who set this up. It is the people behind the scenes who gave the media and the cameras. Like, why were there cameras there? How did everybody know? Because this only happens when it's a stitch-up job. This only happens when they're trying to use the process as the punishment. So to your question, Pat, the marshals being involved is standard operating procedure, but the way it went down is anything but.
So some people are saying that, the president's been fairly friendly with Tate. Their son, the administration's been fairly fair with them. But some are saying in this specific case, Marco Rubio doesn't share the same position as others do. Son, the administration's been fairly fair with them. But some are saying in this specific case, Marco Rubio doesn't share the same position as others do. Well, what do you say? Do you have the impression that Marco's behind this, or this has nothing to do with Marco? I saw the conversations. I saw the questions being asked. I saw online was also saying maybe this is Marco's hand behind us saying, let's go get him. What do you say about that?
So I'm going to be real careful about what I say here, and I just want to tell you why. We have two sort of tracks here that are sequential and independent from each other. So there's the bail proceeding and the bond proceeding that we're going to litigate right here locally in Miami. We brought on a local team, Black and Serebnik, to help us with that. They're heavy hitters over here. And what I can say about that bail proceeding is very limited according to the local rules and according to the federal rules. But what I can say is that there's a subsequent approach to the executive branch where if that doesn't work out, the appellate process doesn't work out, we get to go to the Secretary of State, who of course is Marco Rubio. So when you hear me talking about the politics, you hear me talking about this as a stitch-up job, you hear me talking about the unfairness of it, it's a witch hunt, they've beaten criminal charges all over the place, and they're taking them to the United Kingdom where they're not going to get a fair shake. That is First Amendment public advocacy, where it's politically protected speech on behalf of my clients to appeal to the executive for a subsequent process, not the current one. The current one has to play out in order for me to make sure that if we get to that point where I need to advocate to the Secretary of State, I've already been doing it for a while. So anything I say now isn't me trying to interfere with what's happening locally. It's in anticipation of things. If they don't work out, we need to go to the next level. I am involved in the political process. I am involved in politics. I've been involved in D.C. for several years now, so we got lots of contacts, lots of relationships there, and this is what I'm hearing. Marco Rubio's got nothing to do with this. He's not behind it. He's not out to get them. There's nothing like that happening. My understanding, for what I've been told, that this is a DeSantis ploy, that Andrew and Tristan are being used to put Rubio and Trump in a very difficult situation. A very difficult situation. On one hand, if you extradite the brothers and if you let them go, you're going to lose a substantial part of your Gen Z base, the manosphere. It's going to be like when you watch Braveheart and he was betrayed at the Battle of Sterling and he had that horrific look on his face. I've been fighting these battles. I've been going to war for you, and you betray me at the most horrible time. Okay? On the other hand, right, we just have a process that needs to play out. And Rubio and Trump have been put in a difficult position, from what I've been told, specifically by the DeSantis, Uthmeier sort of group of people that are down here, because they hate each other. And they put Trump and they put Rubio in this difficult position because they don't like them, and they're trying to muddy up the approval ratings that you were just talking about, the midterms that are coming out, in the forthcoming 2028 election. Andrew and Tristan are pawns in a much higher political game right now. And I think as the process plays out, the world's going to be able to see the truth behind what I'm saying.
Joe, I want to show a clip of the last time when Andrew was here. We're talking, and what Andrew, friendly words he had to say about DeSantis. Here was his small request he had for the governor. Go ahead.
I'm an American, and I don't owe him shit. And when DeSantis stands up and apologizes to me, when the AG apologizes to me, I'll consider it. And Byron Donalds is a punk, too, because he sold out and went on the news and started talking shit, calling me a human trafficker. I've never been convicted. The point of America in general, the point of democracy, is innocent until proven guilty. If they get quizzed about me, if they stand up on the news and they say, what do you think of Andrew Tate? They have a very easy answer. We live in a democracy. It's innocent until proven guilty. I don't know the specifics of his case. What I know is he is not convicted. They don't have to sell out like punks. They don't have to start saying I'm not welcome here. If the senator or the governor tells me I'm not welcome here, you know what? Then fucking keep it. I'm not a beg. I'm not desperate. And I don't give a shit if Ron DeSantis likes how I live or not. To be honest, I don't care. I'm an American citizen. I came here. I've been convicted of no crimes. And for the same reason you won't live in Cali or Mamdami's New York, I can't live here until these clowns apologize.
Pause it right.
I'm an American.
Okay. So you see that. So those are the comments that were made. Now, when you hear that, we followed the Romania story where the charges were made, and then all of a sudden they couldn't leave. We were there when they couldn't leave. We were at their house in Romania, and then they could leave, and then they could travel. So everyone's like, wait a minute. I thought Romania, you had something. What are you doing now? And then now we hear these latest, if you can go back to that New York Post story you were just on a second ago, new charges include 19 for indecent images of a child and extreme porn. So it's almost as if they're reaching to find something, but the average individual is watching is saying, what the hell is going on here? Didn't something happen in Romania? What is the difference between the Romania charges and the one in UK?
So I just want to unpack two things that you just addressed there. First and foremost, that clip of Andrew. Bravo, Andrew. That is how a free American citizen speaks when he hasn't done nothing wrong. When you actually haven't done anything wrong, you have zero fear of law enforcement. You have zero fear of investigations because you know that you're innocent. So he's saying, go ahead, look into me. And by the way, we sat down with the statewide prosecutor's office and handed them the entire file. We paused our defamation case that we're litigating in Palm Beach in order for them to get a look. They took a look and they said that there's nothing here. We've consistently had nothing to hide. With regard to what's going on in Romania, they add charges, they put them in a locker somewhere, they keep these guys in jail, we complain about it, it gets them before a competent judge, the judge looks at it and the judge say these allegations are garbage, you have no corroborating evidence. Moreover, in Romania, they brought about 30 or 31 women in to try to testify against these guys, and they told these women, if you don't assign yourself or become a part of the victim list here, at least initially, we're going to put you in as corroborators. We're going to put you in on this conspiracy. We're going to lock you up and throw away the key if you don't participate. Once those women have been given the chance, they've all spoken out and said, this is bunk. It is garbage. It is a setup. Women are online making statements right now in front of the courthouse in Romania. I've been listed as a victim. I'm not a victim. I was in that video with the belt, and that was just play. That was Andrew and I's relationship. So we've been able to articulate to the court there and to the public that case was built on fiction. It was built on nothing. So much so that we sued the wrongful accuser who initiated those charges out there in Palm Beach. And we've been litigating a case in Palm Beach for defamation for the past 3 years. That case is 6 months away from going to trial. If we go to trial and we win in that case, the narrative against them is over. It collapses. Everybody who's ever called them a sex trafficker, a rapist, a pornographer, all these things, it goes away because we're in front of a great judge there, Judge Joseph Curley, G. Joseph Curley. He's a former trial lawyer. He's on the law. He's not political. And we haven't even lost a material hearing there in 3 years. We're doing great. And I'm not overselling anything. That is a fact. So if we win there, the enemies of Tate, they all get defeated at one time. So this is a political chop-up job. This is a political kidnapping. They want to grab Andrew and Tristan, get them out of an American jurisdiction into England and not Romania because they're being heard fairly over there now to make sure that the truth never sees the light of day. So they're repackaging the arguments, and now they're adding sexual images of a minor and all this salacious and defamatory stuff because these are the worst and most horrible things that you could ever say about a man. Sexual assault is the worst, but now you want to equivocate him to Epstein? That is the play here. But I think any reasonable-minded person who has followed this story with any degree of attention understands that these types of allegations with minors and pornography, child stuff, has never been a part of the dialogue. So all of a sudden, this is here now. Most people are going, they're going way above and beyond to smear these guys, to lock them up. And this is the plan. They get them to the United Kingdom. They threaten them with 100 years in jail, or they say you can have a plea offer for maybe 2 to 5. You'll be out in a year and a half or 2 years. If they take that deal, they lose all their wealth, they lose their reputation, and by the way, the allegations never have to get proven in court because they admit that they're guilty. Governments force pleas from people all the time. That's what they want to do because they're losing the war of public opinion, and they're losing the war in every court where you have a competent judge who actually takes a look at the facts.
And Joe, let me ask you, that was a great breakdown to know there. And the last thing as we're looking at this, and they're going through this whole situation you're talking about, how long are you guesstimating for this thing to take? How long are they going to be staying here, going back to, what do you think that process is going to be?
That's an important question, Pat, and I'm glad that you raised it. So typically it takes about 60 days. Right now, we went in front of the judge the other day, and we didn't even ask for them to get out. We just said, Judge, we'd like to have a private conversation with you, attorneys only, on the 27th of this month. The judge granted that order. We're going to have a scheduling order for a conference there where we will look at the briefing schedule going forward. We have a lot of good arguments. There are different things that the court needs to look at with regard to extradition, and the prong that we're going to be talking about is special circumstances. And we feel we have a meritorious case that we can prove to the judge that, hey, listen, one of the primary considerations here is a flight risk. Generally, flight risk is a speculative analysis. No need to speculate here. These guys have been on judicial release in Romania, traveling the world, going back once a month, and never missed a court appearance in their life. They're not a flight risk. These are guys who don't run, they step in, and they lean into the process. If they don't get bond, and the presumption is against bond, but we believe that we have special circumstances where we can articulate to the court that bond is appropriate, especially because they have to litigate that case in Palm Beach. Yeah. But if we don't get bond, then the appellate process begins, and then the appeal to the executive begins. And once we have a habeas petition in, that could take at least a year. They typically take a year in Florida and everywhere else. So we'd be looking at anywhere between 60 days to a year to get this squared away, depending on how the bond issue shakes out.
You know, it's amazing, Joe. I'll finish with this, is whether these allegations are true or not. It's their job to go prove it and your job to defend your client. That's what has to happen, right? But if 2 years ago we ran a poll on Tate's, whether people support our audience, people supported him or not, 80% would be on their side. The guys just ran a poll right now, and our audience, remember, this is a supportive audience. This is not like it's an audience you're on a different place. It's at 50-50. 50-50, they support them, 50 doesn't support them. So what does this mean? This means either these things are working against them, or it means that we got work to do to make sure, arguments are made for the audience to sit there and say they're innocent. I mean, but the audience is definitely speaking up, and it's not like it's an audience that hasn't seen their work multiple times here. I think we've probably hosted them more than anybody else has on their show, and we've had a lot of great conversations together. But something to think about, to see where the audience is at as these stories are of course, now it's going to get back into the news cycle, but we're going to be talking about this on a regular basis. To me, UK has no credibility because when you have 250,000 people that have been raped, girls that have been raped, and we know the percentage of 87% of them being these Pakistani rape gangs, and you do nothing about that, and the first Muslim that you pretty much go after is Andrew Tate, which becomes comical. You go after him, but not all the other. They lose credibility. They lose credibility there, but there is a percentage of the conservative camp in America that's sitting there saying, look, I don't know. I feel like there's something going on here, Vinny.
And just really quick, Joe. So he did a podcast, Andrew Tate, recently. I forgot the individual. Jake Neal, 3-hour podcast. Jack Neal, I'm sorry. Yeah. Explaining that they're coming for him. He kept it secret until something happened to him, and then this happened to him. On the podcast, he said something along the lines that he rejected a $50 million offer to drop everything from the powers that be and go away. So my only question is, he's getting offered this stuff. Did he know that this was going to happen? Did he have any inclination that this was going to go down? Because why do an emergency podcast if nothing is going to go wrong? It's almost as if he knew something was coming.
So anytime you reject that offer, you know something is going to come at some point. He rejected that offer, I want to say somewhere around 2022, 2023, probably 2022. And he had several of them. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. That's the truth. When you reject that offer, it's only a matter of time before they come. And they started coming, and they're going to keep coming until they get what they want. They did it to Trump. They're doing it to Tate. And to your viewers, with all due respect, because I admire you and I appreciate your concern, listen to what we are saying. When I first started litigating the January 6 cases, I was the only lawyer who stepped up and spoke out and said, hey, what's going on here is wrong. There are a lot of problems with these cases. These guys are being held in solitary confinement for months and years at a time. Eventually, there's problems with what happened at the Capitol. There's more than meets the eye. The media is working, especially the leftist media, and certainly at some point Fox News, hand in glove with the Department of Justice to proffer a selective narrative to the public to impugn 2,000 American citizens and call them domestic terrorists, insurrectionists, and all these things. It took us 3 years to change the narrative. It took us a couple years as well to make the Trump pardons palatable to Trump, palatable and digestible to the American public, and he signed them on day one because they were just and because they were proper and because that's what justice demanded. I understand that it's difficult, and I understand that the average American citizen, when they hear the Department of Justice saying something, or a government like the UK saying that these charges are real and you should listen, that comes with a certain amount of institutional credibility. But when politics are behind the accusations, when politics are and secret NGO money is funding this out-and-out international persecution of these guys, you got to step back and you got to say, has this happened before? Yes, it's happened before. Look no further than the president that you currently have in power. Andrew has over 150 or maybe 165,000 people enrolled in his real-world college. That is an army of millions of those boys are right here in America. That is the power to swing an election. That is generational power over future elections, both domestically and abroad. The powers that be know this. The United Kingdom knows this. The enemies of Andrew and Tristan in the conservative movement and the Gen Z in America know this. And they want to lock them up and throw away the key to stop the type of pro-masculine, pro-traditional values. Go out there, pro-capitalism. You can be all you be if you love God and if you love your country. And if you apply yourself in life, the sky is the limit. The future is bright, like you like to say, Pat. And they want to kill him, throw him in jail, lock him up and throw away the key, and call him a child rapist and call him a child molester for the specific purpose of discrediting him to make sure that his voice and his viewpoints are silenced once and forever. And if they could do it to him, the next podcaster or the next young man that wants to step up, guess what? The warning is if they do it to him, they're going to do it to you as well.
Joe, thank you for your time. Great analysis. And we will follow up with you as there's new things formulating as well. But again, thank you for your time.
Pat, Tom, Vinny, Adam, it's a pleasure. Thank you. God bless you.
You as well. You as well. Take care. There you have it. Hearing it straight from the Tate brothers' lawyer who is representing them. I want to get into the next story. The next story is an interesting one that, we love to talk about the WNBA, right? But, every once in a while, the WNBA does some stories that you almost have to talk about. By the way, Caitlin Clark scored 45 points and 10 assists a few days ago. She had 5 3-pointers in a game yesterday in the first half. But this is about Sophie Cunningham. And this girl, Sophie, there's something very special about her. I want to show you 3 clips, back to back to back. Sophie was being asked about transgender in women's sports. And she says, look, I just don't think we need to have men competing in women's sports. And then they came back in the article and they said, hey, it seems like you have a lot of hate for transgender. So eventually she's like, let me just do an interview and answer the questions here. And she did. And she broke it down on what she had to say about men in women's sports. This is very common sense. Then the next clip, I texted these clips to you, by the way. So you just go to the clips, you and Connor, you'll see that I sent it to you. It should be easy to find. And the next clip I want to play for you is Megan Rapinoe on what she said on The View. So these are 3 clips. And last but not least, a young girl breaking down saying, what are you talking about? What are we talking about here with these clips? So, Humberto, if you got them, let's go to them. Do you have it ready? If you want to go to, I literally texted all of them to you this morning and check with you that you got them. Okay, go to that one right there, top one right there. There you go. Let's play this. Watch this, folks. So this is, again, Sophie Cunningham being asked about her hate for transgenders. Look how she responds.
The ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah. Do you see your advocacy on that, like, taking any form going forward?
You know, I don't know. I'm not a very political person, but I do have beliefs. I have morals, and I'll always stand on those and be true to who I am. And I think people are going to take it how they want to take it, but I've never even really said anything about that. And so when it comes just to protecting young girls in sport and women in sport, I feel very strongly about that. I think that's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports. If Title IX and women's sports weren't protected, then you wouldn't hear about any type of women in sport. And so I think in the future, it's just really important to protect.
Do you think, I guess, along the line, like that, it goes against perhaps, some people might say, hey, for the trans community, this could be something that could come back on us or be targeted against us. Like, how do you, I guess, view that sort of critique?
What a question.
You know, like I said, I extend love, and I don't dislike anyone. Like, I think there is room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there's room to love everyone. And I truly think when you get people in the same room and you have conversations, you actually have a lot in common with a lot of people. And so
you can pause it right there. What does that sound like? To me, a lot of common sense.
Oh, man.
Fairness, and you know she has her arms crossed because she knows it's coming. Like, hey, I know you're trying to get me, and I know what you're trying to do. Now go to the next clip. Now this is Megan Rapinoe, okay?
Ugh.
It's a complete 180 of a position on The View, and watch what she has to say. Who do you think is better for our young girls, by the way? Go for it.
Pull back a little. At first it was like, well, nobody likes women's sports and nobody wants to watch it. Or there was, abuse happening and nobody seemed to care. Now all of a sudden we're going to use a vulnerable group of people in the trans community to be like, oh, well, we're just protecting women's sports and we care so much about it. When the Heritage Foundation is now going to go after Title IX. So is it about reproductive rights or is it about just women's rights in general? We're seeing the rollback of Roe v. Wade. Marriage equality, I feel like, is getting put back on the table. That was settled law. And so all of these things, like, yes, they're going after trans people in sports and they're using this as a wedge issue because we love sports and, we don't want our little girls to be unsafe in sports. And it's like, unsafe from who? But okay. Yeah. But now we're using this as like an overarching thing when really what we're attacking women. We're saying, you look
Megan,
like
no
this
one's
as a
attacking
woman.
No one's attacking women. If you were born with a dangling, we don't want you to compete with girls. That's all it is. And by the way, I don't have to say this. You can pause it right there because we can hear it. I don't have to say it right there. I want you to hear it from this young girl. She's the one that's being, that has the most at risk. I sent you the clip on the next one if you want to pull it up. This is the one that you want to see. Megan Rapinoe. She is siding with what Sophie has to say. So just watch this commercial, these highlights. I don't know if we can play these highlights or not. We'll play them anyways if we get a dinged. This is such an important message for our young girls to protect. I got 2 boys and 2 girls. I don't want my girls to be competing with boys. I want them to compete with girls. So watch this commercial. Brilliant.
Would that assist against Brazil have happened? Or that impossible corner in London?
She's going for goal and scores! The Olympico again!
Would you have gotten the gold? Basked in the glory of 2 World Cups?
Wait for it.
Would your toil, dedication, and sacrifice have paid off? Would the fame and adoration have been yours? Would you have become one of the most iconic female players of all time if you had to play against nails? So, why are you asking me to?
Powerful, man. That's powerful.
Common sense. This shouldn't be Democrat and Republican. Like, if there's an issue that shouldn't be political, this is it. Everybody should be on the same page with this. Everybody should be like, this makes a lot of sense. So, Tom, for somebody that's got 2 girls, okay, and one of them right now swims competitively, how do you process this message with what Sophie said, Rapinoe said, and that young girl said at the end?
I'll give you 3 things, and I'll do them right in order. Common sense from Sophie Cunningham, as we continue to see, along with compassion for fellow human beings. There's room to love everybody. So common sense and compassion. Then I see, structuring the victim groups by Megan Rapinoe. Just break down what she says. Don't take my word for it. Don't analyze Tom. Analyze Megan. Analyze her own words. She's creating, we need these victims to bound together as victims. We can't have the trans outside the victim club because then we lose leverage. And she even said a subgroup. She didn't call them people. She called them a subgroup. That's what the Democrats do. That's what they do for voting bloc. That's what they do. And then lastly, this is a brilliant ad that points out the obvious, and it comes full circle. This is the little girl with a common sense question exactly along the line of Sophie Cunningham. Listen, I go to the swim meets, and I cheer for the men, and I cheer for the women that are at my daughter's school. But I tell you, I'm looking at these 13-year-old men, 14-year-old men. I look at their shoulder development. I look at their wingspan. I look at their size. Look at the size of their feet. I look at them and I'm like, how on earth could my daughter be competing with them? The answer is she couldn't. You know, it's not sexual, it's mechanical. Just look at the size of the male body. Just the mechanics of longer arms on a butterfly, longer arms on a backstroke. That's just all that it is, and it's just common sense. And by the way, when people bring up Title IX, it is an insult to the women that work so hard for Title IX and college athletics to give women and women's programs an opportunity at the college level, now to use Title IX and spin it. Megan Rapinoe, looking at you, and then to say as if somehow, the Heritage Foundation, stop it. Stop it. It's not fair. It's not logical. And if you went to a soccer game, you go to anything at a high school and look at men over on this side playing soccer, women swimming, it doesn't matter, Pat. So me as a father, I can see it with my own eyes as common sense. And so can everybody else. But this group is using it politically because they need it.
I agree. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, first, let me just compliment Sophie Cunningham. They're not very often do we say about an NBA player that they're going to be bigger than basketball. I don't know how long her career is going to be in the WNBA. The average professional career lasts 3 to 5 years. Something tells me this girl, this lady, Sophie Cunningham, she's going to have an afterlife, no doubt. And I'm so glad that she's on the same team with the best player in the WNBA. So hopefully she rubs off on her. Because one thing I didn't like about Caitlin Clark is she kind of apologized for, I don't remember, whiteness or whatever it was. And I hope she rubs off on her. But I have a suggestion, because we keep saying the same thing. Don't we keep saying the same thing, guys? Guys are different than girls. Why are we having them play each other? They shouldn't be competing. Just have the best women's team play against any NBA team, the best WNBA team, put the all-star team together from the WNBA and have them play the worst NBA team, better yet, the worst college basketball team, and just have them play the game and just see for yourself, guys. You say, don't just tell me, show me. Remember when Billie Jean King, I think, played like Jimmy Connors back in the day? Play a game, show what actually will happen, and let's stop talking about
that was Bobby nonsense. Riggs. That was Bobby Riggs, Billie Jean
Bobby
King.
Riggs?
Yes.
Thank you. But just have them play. And Megan Rapinoe, maybe you'll play against the men. Put your whole squad together. I think they literally played against high school boys and lost.
Adam, the FC Dallas under 15 boys squad beat the U.S. women's national team in a scrimmage. 0. Yeah, whooped them. High school.
So even Serena Williams even said that she would not be the #1 tennis player in the world. She would be lucky to be a top 100. So stop, guys. I get it. You're trans. You want rights. I get it. But stop with the nonsense and just let them play the game and let's see what happens. The only thing I don't want a UFC fight. I don't want Amanda Nunes getting in the ring with Josh Hockett or anything like that, or Sugar Sean even. That could get ugly. But play in the WNBA game and let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Adam,
look, first of all, it's just embarrassing. Megan Rapinoe, Pat, if I rubbed the genie lamp and a genie was like 3 wishes, my one wish would be what that little girl was saying. That all the games, the important games that she played, she was playing against men pretending to be women, and she would have won nothing. You never would have known who this person is. Okay? And it's embarrassing as a species, as a human being, and just as a nation, that the fact that we're even debating that men should be playing in women's sports says everything about our society, okay? It's not progress. We're not moving forward. We're going backwards, okay? We reach a point where people are afraid to say what Adam, and you made a good point, what every human being is saying from the beginning of time. Men are different than women. Full stop. I'm sorry. It is what it is, okay? Women's sports exist for a reason, okay? They exist because we have physical advantages, okay? It's not hate. It's not discrimination. It's reality, okay? And then, Tom, we talked about this the other day at dinner. When a society starts denying basic truths, you know something is seriously wrong. And I believe like the devil, Satan himself, is laughing his hot, evil butt off, watching us argue something that should never be argued or questioned in the first place. And Tom, the Bible calls the devil what? The father of lies. And one of the greatest tricks was convincing man that he didn't exist, okay? Right? Mm-hmm. And confusion is one of the greatest weapons, bro. And we're watching it play out right in front of us. It shouldn't be a debate. We shouldn't even be talking about it, but they keep bringing it up. And scripture says this, Pat. Satan is the ruler of this world for a time, and when I look around, it's easy to see. Look what he's doing. When good is called evil, evil is called good, common sense is treated like it's extremism, okay? And people who speak the truth are the ones under attack. I'm so proud of her, Pat, and I love that you did the body language part. She knows she's going to go into battle, but she's sticking up for herself, and I love it. But the good news is Satan never wins at the end, Pat, and Jesus Christ is going to win, and the truth stops being the truth just because people vote against it or you have purple hair angry lesbian chick mad at the world.
I'm proud of what she's doing, and it's good that the league has some like that. Adam.
Well, amen, Vinny. I hear you on that. Pat, when you interviewed Khabib, I remember you asked him a question like, so how many genders are in Russia? And he was like, two. Like, do you remember that conversation?
Of course I do.
What did he say?
He said only two. I said, listen, I mean, you guys got to get better. We got 100 plus. You know, you guys got some catching up to do. But he said, no, man, we're common sense. We got two of them. All right, let me get to the next story. I thought that was a great story for mothers to show their daughters and fathers to show their daughters about, hey, listen to how classy this Sophie Cunningham is. Go out there and win and do your thing. And I love it. I just love it. I love what she had to say. And we ran a poll, okay? What is a better role model for young women? Our audience. You ready? What do you think was making Rapinoe?
2%.
5%. Sophie Cunningham was 95%.
Weird.
Yeah.
She deserves every point.
You want to run a poll on how much of that 2% that voted that have purple hair as well in our audience?
5%. Give the 5% respect on the trolls. But let me get to the next one. So there's a video that went viral on X about a man that smacked a guy in the head for you know, what do you call it? For
not standing for the national anthem.
Not standing. But before we go to it, I want you to go to the commercial right there you're about to play. So this guy, you know, you had the clip you just had for the shoes if you want to go to it. This guy is standing at the game. They're watching their thing. But before we go to it, I want you to go look at these Future Looks Bright shoes, guys. Every day except for roughly 15, 16 days since September 9th of last year. This is all I wear, just so you know that. All I wear these Future Looks Bright shoes.
Can I show one thing too, Pat?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not joking. Like I wear them out. It was a flood that happened here 2 days ago. I wore these completely drenched, and I'm not BSing. Nothing is wrong with the shoe, and I've been wearing this shoe for over a year and a half.
The quality of it.
Just saying.
The most important thing is if you believe in a product is if you yourself, I am a big fan of this shoe. We build it for that specific reason with the super foam in it. Go ahead, play the clip. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. This is all I wear. My God, if you believe the future looks bright and you're staying optimistic, you want to be in business meetings, put your feet over your knee for people to say, wow, what's that future looks bright? Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. Depending on your sizes, whatever you do, get the sizes because they sell out very, very quickly. Okay, let's get right into this clip. So do you agree with this behavior? Yes? No? Here's a man at a Chicago Cubs game. You can pause it when we go to a Chicago Cubs game. He is watching the national anthem being played. and a man in front of him is not standing up. So guess what he does to him? Go ahead and watch the reaction of the other two fellows to the right of the guy that got smacked upside his head. Go ahead. Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Go back again to see the smack. It was 0 to 10 how hard it was. I just
At
want
the
to see
end
one
there,
more
he goes,
time.
thank
Why?
you so much for standing.
Oh, he hits him.
Okay, can you pause it? Okay, so is this a patriot or is this a, what's the opposite?
It's assault in
It's
the
assault.
third degree.
Is this a patriot or is this assault? Run the poll. Run the poll with our audience. And guys, be honest. Be honest when you see this. Because so part of you watches this, you're like, oh my goodness. Like this is maybe yesterday, I go to the urgent care here because we take one of our kids, you know, I don't know what it was, but we went there, scored away. And the doctor's from New York. And he's telling me all these stories. And the kid, one of my kids, the doctor asked him a question. And this doctor, you can tell he's like a hardcore, you can tell a military person raised him. And my kid says to the doctor, yeah. And I said, yes. And the kid says, yes. And the doctor looks at me and says, listen, if it was back in the days, you know, my dad would have smacked me upside the head. It would have been very different.
Yeah.
He says, thank you. I said, yeah, I mean, that's old school. Nowadays, we don't smack. Maybe we'll side kick or we'll take
pinch,
away
a pinch
iPad
on the
or a
leg.
pinch or something. But Tom, what do you think when you see this? Do you look at this saying this is a patriot or this is an assault? Arrest a man.
So we live in a world where the United States stands on top of the stack with the best constitution, the best framework. And in that, there's freedom of speech. But there's also consequences. And this gentleman in the back felt that this gentleman in the front was disrespecting the national anthem. And, you know, nobody smacked, although many people wanted to, some of the NFL players that wouldn't stand for the national anthem, that kneeled instead in the name of, you know, some protest. But I want to know what the guy said. Apparently, he gave him an answer. There was something going on where he gave some answer. And it doesn't look like he, you know, did anything really volatile. It doesn't look like a little emotion. And the guy just basically said, I've had enough. So the guy that's sitting for the national anthem needs to understand sometimes people
Tom,
have had enough.
You still haven't answered my question. Is this guy a patriot or is this assault? Like, are you okay with this happening?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
That guy is a proud citizen and did not feel that this was a respectful move, leans over to talk, something gets said, and he had enough. Now, did the guy sitting there, do you have your right to freedom of speech? Sure, you have your right to freedom of speech. But exercising freedom of speech in the wrong way can get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
And the wrong thing.
Adam, where are you at with this?
Oh, PBD, this was my top story, man. I love this story so much. I want to, my grandfather's no longer with me. I want that guy to be my grandfather. You have no idea how much respect I have for that grandfather. 0% assault, all just American patriotism. And by the way, when that grandfather smacked that kid to stand up for the national anthem at a baseball game, everyone around him looked at the kid and publicly shamed him because they know, get your ass up for the flag. By the way, you have every right, like Tom said, to protest the national anthem. You have every right to potentially even burn the flag, but you also have every right for grandpa to get you an ass whooping. That's not a bad grandpa right there. That's like the goat of grandpas right there. He didn't have older friends of his fighting World War II for this nonsense. So to that guy, I salute him. He's an absolute patriot, and I completely agree with bad grandpa.
Well, Pat,
Vietnam,
he is a
actually.
patriot, but he could have been arrested for assault in the third degree. Like, and by the way, everybody has their freaking First Amendment right. You could do whatever you want. Doesn't mean everyone has to respect it and stay quiet. And you know, Pat, as a veteran, as a patriot, seeing anybody disrespect the flag or the national anthem drives me bananas. People are sick and tired of watching, you know, people mock the country that gave them the freedom to do it in the first place. Like, and you guys made a great point, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You're free to make your statement, but don't act shocked when someone else makes theirs. like what he did, but at the same time, Pat, if that guy wanted to press charges, he could. But the funniest thing that nobody's talking about, what if that guy was actually deaf and had no idea what the hell was going on?
Oh,
what if he was
stop
just like, and just...
and didn't notice 35,000 people standing
He
out.
was on his phone.
You know, yesterday we watched a movie called Legend.
Yes.
And it's the story of the two Cray twins. And it's played by Tom Hardy. Ronnie and Ray? Is it Ronnie and...
Reggie. Reggie and Ronnie.
Reggie and Ronnie. And one of the ones was gay. One of the two Cray twins was
Bisexual.
bisexual, and he liked younger boys.
Yeah.
Like the Krasenstein, maybe? I don't know.
No, they specifically told me they were not, because I
Oh,
thought I had
okay.
the
Yeah.
impression
News
that
to
they
me,
were
sir.
not.
My bad. My bad.
So
Allegedly, that's
in
my
the
bad,
movie,
guys.
in this movie, you see what they do to the city. Okay,
Yes.
these are criminals. But I wonder if the Cray twins were around today in London, would those 250,000 girls have gotten raped? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Would there have been a certain level of fear for gangsters who are not afraid of going to prison and paying the price to say, don't touch these girls. You touch these girls, it's going to be bad for you. You know, when you watch this video and this man smacks the kid in the head and says, stand up, there's something very attractive about it. I don't know why. There is. Listen, if you love America, you're proud of this country, what it's done, and the freedoms it's giving you, stand up. Now, somebody would say if that was a linebacker, 6'4", 250, maybe the guy doesn't smack him upside the head.
Maybe just ask him, hey, can you please stand?
Can you please stand? But can you go to the comment section? Because I don't want to be a place where we're all agreeing everything and we're not looking at what people that disagree with us. So go a little bit lower and let's read some of these comments. Though I disagree with young guy not standing up national anthem, it's an assault, and the old guy should be charged for crime. I would have made that old knock me out, revel him for brainwashed boomer asshole that he is before I... Okay, that's probably a bot.
Satanic anthem.
No, the guy that's got all those numbers. Matter of fact,
John
go
Doe.
on the account. Go on John Doe's account.
Yeah.
Can you go on John Doe's account?
Satanic
And
anthem.
Five
This guy.
following. Yeah, okay, so that's a bot.
Yeah.
So go back.
Yeah.
Go back and let's see. Because some of these
So
are real,
funny.
though. I hope he gets arrested for assault. Standing for the anthem is not law, morons. Don't forget the national anthem was written by slave owners celebrating winning award that allowed slavery to continue.
That's so stupid.
By the way, this is his account. This
Yeah.
is what your account
Cucumber
shows.
DB.
Don't
Dumb.
forget the national anthem was written. Okay. People use the word patriot so loosely nowadays. So being patriotic is punching someone just because, wow, I mean, the algorithms, Humberto, favor all the negatives. Where's one positive? Do you have one positive that comes up?
Yes, I just saw it. I
One
just saw
of
it.
them
Keep going down.
was all recent. Let's see what comes up. This is called assault, and your right-wing snowflakes would piss your pants if this is assault. Gay-ass boomer conversation
That's
is
another
no
one-
less.
another one of those.
Great. That's what the younger generation needs. Snap them out of their attitudes. Teach them. Again, that's what I'm telling you. It's not 50-50, just so you know. A lot of people are like, this is not cool to do so. But for somebody
Pat,
that doesn't stand
what did
up-
our audience say?
Did you run the poll? What's the number on the polls? Let's take a look at what the polls show up.
Do you agree with the slapping?
It's
63%. Yes.
63%.
2 to 1.
Really?
63% likes to be slapped. All right. I mean, listen, we'd like to see you at the networking event next Wednesday. And we play the national anthem, and we get Dan walking around. That's Dan's job. Dan and Michael going around. Boom,
By the way,
boom,
you made
boom.
an important point about the movies, and I'll just make one quick point here. Sometimes, criminal elements have a truth about them that we all actually kind of agree with. And what you said about they wouldn't have tolerated that in the UK, well, I'll tell you, the state of California has known that child molesters in prison, that the Hispanic gangs that are overwhelmingly Catholic, they murder child molesters in California prisons because they feel that crime is just above. And so your point about criminals in certain times would take things into their own hands and do things, you're absolutely correct. And it happens even today.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next one I want to get into is Iran and a different angle with Iran. So the president came out and tweeted something saying for every time Iran does anything to any ships in Strait of Hormuz, here's what we're going to do to you. From this point forward, anytime the IRGC shoots at a ship in Strait of Hormuz, whether it's by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the U.S. will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So now, you see that story. They're going back and forth. Yesterday, the president is being interviewed, and a lady asks and says, it doesn't look like Iran is calling you to want to do a deal. And the president says, how do you know? So what? Do you have that clip? Do you know which one I'm talking about? It doesn't look like Iran is calling you to want to do a deal. It says, I'm curious, how do you know? How do you know that? And the lady got flustered. She was stuck. Okay, a reporter asks, do you have that? Click on that to see if that's the one. I don't think that's the one. I can't even hear it, by the way, just so you know. Oh, do you want to? No, if I can hear it, I'll tell you if it's the one or not. Okay, I'll try to find it myself and I'll send.
Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say...
No, this isn't it. So I'll find a clip. I'll send it to you. It's important on how he responds to it. But when you look at the story with Iran, on what they're saying, and then you look at gas prices today. Tom, what is crude oil right now? What's the price? Is it 99 or 98?
We are getting close to 100 on British called Brent crude North Sea, and then WTI West Texas Intermediate. We're over 90. So we are. Remember, we were back at 67 2.5 weeks ago.
Yes, we were
3 weeks ago, thinking, wow, we're within 75 cents of the week before the war started, like February 21st, and now we're all the way back to this. Both sides knocking on 95 to 100.
So when you see this, can you go? I'm going to read the Houthi story, and Tom, I want you to go into it because Tom, you got a complete different angle of what you think is going on. Houthis say they attacked Saudi tankers in the Red Sea, threatening new checkpoint in Iran war. This is a Reuters story, okay? And here's what the Houthis are doing. They're kind of helping Saudi in a very weird way. The Iranian aligned Houthis said Thursday that they struck 2 Saudi oil tankers as part of a naval blockade on Saudi, threatening to create a second choke point on global oil supplies alongside Iran's near closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The Houthis identified the vessels as the Ancelia and the Layla. Saudi state news agency SPA cited an official source saying that the Ancelia was struck, causing a fire at the bow, and Layla was attacked, remained unconfirmed. A maritime security source said Ancelia transmitted a distress call reporting it had been struck by a missile near the Saudi port of Jizan late Wednesday. Tom, what's going on here with Houthis and Saudi?
Well, in the Middle East, you pick a country, and there's usually what you see publicly, and there's all these subtext. And this is what I'm reading here. The Saudis want to continue with their enrichment of uranium. They want to be a nuclear power. India is, Pakistan is, Israel has been, and never acknowledged publicly, but has been. And so Saudi is like, on one side, they want to level the playing field and they want to be a nuclear power as well. Well, they also have centrifuges. Does that sound familiar? So does Iran. They also have these labs that are trying to make more enrichment to the uranium. So does Iran. And so now you have these Saudi vessels in there that get attacked by the Houthis. I am sitting there wondering, does the Saudi version of the CIA and Mossad, are they out there? Because we know our CIA did a bunch of stuff in Latin America in the 80s and 90s around communism, and there's all kinds of things that happen. And we know MI6, and we know Mossad. So why would it be so crazy that the Saudis have their version of that are out there kind of maybe indirectly seeing that the Houthis get help? So that's like, oh my gosh, one of my ships has been attacked. See, United States, I really need to be enriching uranium too. I'm getting attacked because I'm kind of your friend here. I think there's subtext going around here, and I don't have any secret cables from foreign governments, but I'll tell you, I look at this and it just doesn't smell right. How do the Houthis get armed when their source of money and arms, Iran, is truly busy with what's going on with us?
Yeah, and by the way, while that's going on, I want to show this clip. This is the clip I was talking about. Go for it.
Yeah. Mr. President, there are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan to just keep bombing until they give up?
There are no signs. What, do you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies and kill Americans.
You don't know what the dialogue is behind the scenes, that they want to meet desperately to try and end it because they're getting decimated. You don't get that when you listen to your fake station, but you don't know anything.
So talks are
you know
still
something
possible,
that I don't know? Do you know something I don't know?
Well, tell us.
I will tell you, they want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
What an easy way to handle that situation. How do you know? Are you talking to them? What do you know that I don't know? I'm the president. So as if you know more than I do, like who I'm negotiating. That's the part about everybody, including us, that we give our opinions, we give our thoughts, we speculate. Nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors except for the people that are in the room negotiating with these guys. Nobody knows. I
agree.
Everything is speculation and biases speculation to support what you believe in and what you're thinking is going on. Now, I do want to say what just happened. Iran strikes on CIA facilities, prompting questions about possible Russian role. And this article, this is not an article written by just a blogger. This is by Reuters. So, Iranian drone attacks on CIA facilities in Gulf have prompted U.S. intelligence analysts to investigate whether Russia assisted by providing targeting information or advanced drone technology, according to 4 people familiar with the U.S. intelligence. Analysts have not reached firm conclusions, but cited the strike's effectiveness and apparent precision, as well as Russia's broader technical support for Iran as possible evidence. At least 2 CIA sites were struck in March. The CIA station in the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi, and a separate site in eastern Iraq. One internal memo from a Western intelligence agency concluded Russia has likely played a role in targeting regional CIA facilities. 2 Western officials briefed, and intelligence reports said analysts thought the Saudi attack involved a pair of Russian-enhanced versions of Iran's Shahid drones. One blew a hole through a vulnerable part of the embassy exterior, and the other flew through and detonated. So, I mean, Tom, Adam, when you see your story like this, what do you think's going on with this story?
So this specific story, I mean, listen, Russia is a bad actor, but I want to comment on the Iran situation if I can, and the Houthis, if I may.
Go for it.
I'm here in Jerusalem, and let me tell you something. What I've learned in the Middle East, I always say, the Middle East is not the Midwest. What you got going on in Chicago is not what they got going on in Iran. I'm here in Israel, and these are Israelis, supposedly the sophisticated people. The aggression in the Middle East, don't get me started on Lebanon and Syria and Afghanistan. These are an aggressive people. These are pushy people. I'm with my buddy Austin. We're in line for coffee. I see him arguing with this old lady. Arguing. I go, what was that? He goes, she tried to skip me in line. I'm like, that's what's going on here? We don't understand in America how aggressive the Middle East is. PBD, you get it. So what's my point? We talk about peace through strength. You have to be firm with these people. The only language they understand is strength and being firm. If not, they're never going to move off their position. In America, when I talk about the Middle East versus the Midwest, and Pat, you know this more than anybody, we have no idea how fanatical and radical these people are. We talk about like, I'm a fan, I love my team. I'm a Knicks fan, or the Bears famously had super fans. Fanatical and fans are completely different. The amount of belief, you have to respect how much they believe in what they believe, but you can't compromise your values or lose because they believe that much. We have to fight with so much strength to be at the same level of how much they want to destroy. So understand one thing, America, we have to be strong. Trump continue to be strong and continue to crush the bad guys and end this thing.
Listen, maybe one of the deepest analysis I've heard based on a coffee shop to know how to handle these guys.
How tough.
Adam,
I'm telling you, bro.
That report must be sent to Pentagon.
They need to analyze that
immediately. Did you record that coffee shop? Because that insight, listen, where is the director of CIA when you need him? Where can we get a hold of him right now to give that breakdown?
John, are you listening?
Oh my gosh, that visual, me watching like the coffee exchange, of you cutting in line, kicking, she falls. Like hey, you're not going to get it before I do. Yeah,
the radioactive latte that kills her a week later.
Here's what I want to do.
But by the way,
I want to hook up that old lady, that grandma, with the abusive grandfather. They're going to create the best super fighter of all time. Great, we're going to roll them in the IDF. Mossad's already on the case. Yeah, but we're on this thing. CIA.
But I will tell you, in regard to what you're saying, you're right. They are very aggressive. Their personality is aggressive. The first time I went to New York with Mario, the workers at New York talked to Mario in a certain. Mario was like fighting everybody. I'm like, Mario, this is just New York.
Everybody's chilling.
So no, they can't talk to us like that. I said, no, this is New Yorkers. They're not upset. They're not angry. They're just from New York. Yeah. You're accustomed to Texas. Yeah. You go to Texas, Southern hospitality is like, yes, sir. So when you get called sir 500 times, and then you go to a state that doesn't call you sir, you lose your shit. You really start believing you are a sir, right? So I get that part about Middle East and how it's, what it's like. But the part right now with everything that's going on, Trump is going back and saying, hey, I'm pushing hard, and if you do this, we're going to do this. It'll be interesting. But the fact that now, imagine those calls on the back end, calling Russia, calling China. What are you doing? What do you? I thought you wanted to do this. These have to be some of the best calls right now that's taking place. You know who's losing in a big way right now? It's a guy named Gavin Newsom that's dying to become a president. I got one report that says how huge blow for Gavin Newsom as shock polls show Democrat 2028 White House rival streaking ahead. This one shows Kamala Harris is way ahead of him. Another one that just came out this morning with his numbers dropping. If you can go to my tweet, if you go to Twitter, and then Tom, I'm going to come to you with this one because you sent us these numbers this morning. Just go to my Twitter account and go to the latest tweet that I have on what happened with AOC this morning. The last couple years, you've heard me say it. AOC is going to be the primary candidate. I believe it's going to be her. If you can make that bigger, okay? Gavin Newsom's favorability among likely New Hampshire Democratic primary voters has fallen from 58 to 38 in 9 months, while his ballot support dropped from 15 to 8%. Meanwhile, AOC holds a 55% net favorability compared to Newsom's 12. Tom, is this poll that you shared with us this morning showing the fact that AOC is closely getting ahead of Newsom?
Yep, and I'm going to give you a quick case study that has 3 parts. Number 1, I'm going to take you to some Kalshi numbers. Number 2, I'm going to take you to net favorability. So favorability usually happens right before the polls come out. You know what I mean, Vinny? People's favorability starts rising. All of a sudden, the polls start moving. That's number 2. And then number 3, I'm going to tell you about the East-West effect. And then number 4 is the Newsom reaction. So number 1, the Kalshi market. If we go the Kalshi market here, look at this. We are over 157, now 158. Look what has happened in the last week. Here's what's happened. And the folks inside Kalshi, very, 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 very helpful. Here's what's gone on. Gavin Newsom was 24% in the last 30 days. Gavin Newsom was 18% likelihood of getting the Democratic nomination. That's down from 24%. So in the last 30 days, he's been riding at 18%. That's down 6 full points. And you know what that is? That is 25% down. AOC was 9%, Pat. In the last 30 days, she's risen to 15%. That is 6 points up, which is plus 56% in the poll. John Ossoff, 12 to 16, up 4. So right now, it's Newsom 18, AOC 15, Ossoff 14. That is what is really happening in real-time voting, and it's moving. Because remember, once you have 154 million, Pat, and the next person puts in, say, their $100 on AOC, it takes a while to move the Titanic. Mm-hmm. There's $157 million of predictions in there. So number 1, there is a huge shift going down. Newsom down 25%, AOC up 56% in the prediction. Second, favorability. This is what is absolutely shocking. Right now, Newsom is only plus 12% favorability. Who really doesn't like him? Who really likes him? Minus who really doesn't like him. What's left? 12%. He's the last place of the 6 candidates.
Good.
Right in front of him is Kamala Harris at plus 19 favorable.
Come on, Kamala.
Do you know what AOC's favorability is right now? Plus 55. She is 43 points more favorable than Newsom, and you can see it shifting. And so now the next polls come out, which is this. As Gavin Newsom goes east toward New York, toward New Hampshire, he does worse because all of the California perceptions come with him. The East Coast voters' perception is that California has a lot of problems. Whether they're Democrat or Republican, that's what the average voter thinks. And that makes sense. They hear about the fires, they hear about the corruption, they see Nick Shirley, they hear about the rail, and they're not Californians that say, well, I'm still a Democrat in California and I love Newsom, he's my guy. No, they're East Coasters that are saying, wow, you know what? Things are happening in California. That follows Newsom, and he does worse the further east he goes. Do you know what happens when AOC goes to Chicago and she goes to Detroit? She picks up momentum from younger people living there that say, you appear to be what I want. And I'm thinking more in terms of supporting a socialist, supporting a liberal.
Free stuff.
The more she goes west, the more she picks up. So what is happening now, I am declaring here and now. And remember, VT Analytics, Pat graciously, funded what we did for the election. Thank you again, Pat. And we, on election night for the presidential election, we didn't pull back one state that we called all night. We called them when we felt we were earlier than networks, and we called the election while we had Cenk on Zoom, which he really loved. It's one of the highlights of his life. And we were the first one to call it. So
what are you calling? You said I'm calling you right now. What are you saying,
now, I'm telling you, AOC is the lead. Maybe she stays here, maybe she doesn't. She is the lead candidate for the Democratic presidential election. I'm telling you right now. And I'll give you a proof.
I'm sorry, but by the way, did you hear what Tom just said now? You guys disagreed 2 years ago.
Me or Adam?
No.
Well, I know somebody that didn't disagree.
Adam said that'll never happen.
Never
It's no way this, no way that. And the Democrats are falling for it. So why is this happening is the question. Why? And what is the indicator of what to come? Who right now is winning over the youth with his policies in America?
Mamdani, free,
Mamdani tweeted something yesterday about Netanyahu that he couldn't arrest, and he's leaning on the federal government to arrest Netanyahu when he comes to give a speech that he's going to be giving. And he originally told Mehdi Hassan that he was going to find a way to arrest him, even though he does not have the ability to do so. This clip right here.
Well, look how serious he is.
But here's what I want you to do. Play the clip. Just play the clip, the first third.
Is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide.
Tables in the right way this time, the desk.
He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children. As those
you can pause it right now. Now watch this. How many likes you think this clip got? 1.3 million likes. Not views, 84 million views. Okay, 84 million views. Now, this is the part that this is a bit confusing for Americans that they're not going to know. I just want to know what percentage of that is people that are Americans versus people outside of America on Twitter. I want to know what percentage of those are from what denomination, what religion, where they are, how many of them are bots. I want to do all of that. But this is real. This is not like it's not real. And who is the one ahead of him that can become a president? It's AOC. And so can you go back to my tweet, please? If you go back to the tweet, I want to show you a couple things here. Because both Democrats and Republicans have a problem right now. Go a little bit lower. Here's the problem. The Democratic problem is they don't know how to handle the Democrat Socialist Party. They're younger, more energized, louder, better at simple messaging. And their message is easy to understand. They want to, rich people are the problem. Tax the rich. Wealth tax will fix inequality. Government can solve all your problems, the affordability crisis, and the system is unfair. Newsom made the mistake, Tom, of trying to be a socialist. He's not a socialist.
Nope.
Newsom's not a socialist. But he said, man, I'll do anything to become a president, including become a socialist, and it dropped.
Two weeks ago, sitting in the suit and tie with the bookcases behind him,
so the audience
like
is watching him, and audience is watching him and saying, hey, what do you stand for? Who are you? Is it anything to become a president? I want to know your problem. I want to know what you stand for. You know what the Republicans' problem is? Affordability, affordability, affordability. Very simple. They think Wall Street is Main Street. It's not. People are getting destroyed. 80% of Americans don't own, NVIDIA, Anthropic, SpaceX, and Palantir. They're not sitting there saying, oh, my God, my stock is doing great. No, 80% are not thinking about that. They're thinking about housing affordability, rising costs, and economic opportunity. If Republicans kind of blow this off of affordability, they're going to be destroyed if they think it's not a big deal. They're going to be destroyed. And by the way, this post-Trump era, it's starting. J.D. Vance on Joe Rogan, it's starting. It's starting. J.D. Vance on Bill Maher saying I'm open to voting for somebody else, it's starting. It's gradually starting. Vinny, this is going to be the nastiest Republican primary you've seen in a long time. And don't forget, for the people that say AOC could never be that, a guy said, that'll never happen. The backers will never get behind AOC. Really? Yeah. Don't forget how close Bernie Sanders was of beating Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
Don't forget how close Bernie Sanders was of beating Hillary Clinton.
I'll say he beat her, and they dirty tricked him in South Carolina out of it.
Of course he beat her. Of course he beat her. But by the way, the other part is guys like Bill Maher and Van Jones are like, wait a minute, I'm not a socialist. Here's what Van Jones just had to say. If you want to play this clip, this is Van Jones, okay? If you want to pull up, you just literally had it up right there. You watch this. You watch this clip by Van Jones. Go for it.
I am tired of a set of people on the very far left in the Democratic Party. Ideas that are literally insane, nutty, moronic, dangerous, bigoted, are not progressive. They're regressive, and they should not be in our party.
I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouth.
So even their own party's like, look, I'm a Democrat. I'm not socialist, but it's going to be AOC is going to be the person for them.
But you don't think it's...
And I'll tell you something else that may shock you. But Mamdani is going to right now in a basement in New York, scared to death, wearing adult diapers. My assumption is Chuck Schumer, and because his political career is like his life passing before his eyes right now, Pat. I believe Mamdani, although he's only been mayor for a short time, I think he's going to run for that Senate seat. And I think AOC is running for president, and she's who I think is the front runner. And I think that Gavin Newsom's, look, anything can happen in a political season, but I think his expiration date is upon us. If he has trouble in an echelon poll against Kamala Harris this last week, and he's got this, and he's never broken above 25, the voters are waiting for something else. My last quick point, Pat. What you said, I'd like to add something. You said it's going to be the ugliest Democrat primary season. I think it's going to be the ugliest primary season.
Yeah. I said for Republicans.
You said for Republicans, but I think it's going to be on the other side too.
I know, but the reason why it's more ugly on the Republican, my opinion, you could say Democrat than Democrat, is because it's going to be ugly on the Republican side. Because the big elephant is the biggest, most intimidating elephant ever is leaving the room. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, massively nasty. Yep. Nasty. I think the J.D. Vance followers are going to be super nasty. Super nasty.
The proxies of Vance are already nasty. I think they're going to be
super nasty. I think there's going to be some. I mean, look at that. Don Jr. is number 4 on that list. Marco Rubio, DeSantis,
Donald
Trump is even at 2.6%.
Did you see?
This is Kelsey. How much is on that, Vinny? I don't see that number.
Which one?
I can't see it with the glare of the light. What's it?
52 million.
This is legit.
Of course this is legit. Some people, there's 3% of people that think Trump's going to be the president
Did you see what Trump said the other day? It was actually hilarious. Did you see what he did? Where was he? Humberto, you have that clip?
The Crown Prince of Trolling.
Trump opens up. I don't know if he's in Detroit. I don't know where he is, but Donald Trump opens up and he goes,
in Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to announce my president. And he goes, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but Pat, while he looks for the, right here.
Watch this. This is just to piss people off.
No, not that guy. It's not
that's
that.
not it. It's a different one. Adam, your thoughts on this?
PBD, I just want to publicly apologize on saying that you were incorrect about AOC. So as much as I want to apologize, I want to double down. So instead of stopping it or trying to put up a wall like Trump did, let's do it. Let's get it on. Because what's happening on the Democratic Party, think about real quick, I'm going to rattle it off. Boom. Who's left the Democratic Party that was hardcore Democrats? RFK, Tulsi, Joe Manchin, that's my boy. John Fetterman is basically a Republican at this point. You have Bill Maher basically saying, I can't condone this. And the coup de grace, Van Jones, CNN staple Van Jones, by the way, hardcore Zionist. Throw that out there, progressives. He was raised by a Jewish grandmother, I want to say. When you lose him and he says you can't do this, you might be losing the entire party. So I hope that the Obama-Bernie coalition, the AOCs, the Mamdanis, the Ilhan Omars, the Hassan Pikers, dressed as Chairman Mao, just get it out there. Remember I said that I want the WNBA players to play the NBA just so we can see what it looks like? I hope we have a Marco Rubio, who I believe is the most polished, just best candidate we've seen in a long time. versus an AOC, Latino versus Latino. What a proud moment for Latinos in America. And let's see what happens. Because I believe that America is smarter than whatever AOC is pitching. And I would love to see that matchup, because I think America will basically come to their senses and say, we just can't do this socialist communist Islamist thing. This ain't America.
You're giving
baby.
them too much credit, Adam, and to go, Pat, the Van Jones.
I'm giving who too
no,
much
you're giving
credit,
the people too much credit. Like you're like people. The Democrats are going to wake up.
No. I said Americans.
Americans
I'm giving
will still.
Americans
Adam,
credit.
the Mamdani is the biggest case study of sleeping on this ideology and this movement. And it's, you know what it's basically like? And that's why, like, the Van Jones and the Bill Maher and even Stephen A. and all them, you have to take some responsibility, because you got, for 10 years, not a peep. Everything was Trump. And now you're looking back and you're like, oh my God. You know what it's like? It's like having a bump. This is the Democratic Party with this new socialist communist movement. It's like having a bump that you ignore and you ignore and you ignore and you keep worrying about other stuff. And then all of a sudden now you go to the doctor and they're like, yo, it's stage 4 cancer. And you're like, why didn't I? Because Van Jones, you've been sitting there on the freaking, on the TV, on media for how many years and just trumping Trump, orange man bad. And now the dust is settled. And now you guys are looking back and going, oh my God. We have no leader, we have no policy, we have no vision, and now the communist jihad freaking AOC squad people are going to take over. And Adam, it's not maybe, they're going to take over. But the beauty about this country is, bro, I love it. The First Amendment and the Second Amendment to back it. These people think that they're going to come like the Hassan Pikers. You're going to come and try to take over what? Celebrating 9/11, pro-communist, pro-Mao. What are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? Because Hassan Piker put up a video on his podcast. He's doing this thing. He framed the Twin Towers. It's a 9/11 thing behind him. He framed
September 12th newspaper showing the horrible tragedy of the day before.
And he put it behind him, and he said, this is my PSA 10. Pat's a card collector. For all the people that don't know, PSA 10 is like your prize. That thing means it's worth something. Can we play this, Pat, really quick?
Go for it.
Go ahead, Humberto.
Also, you might have noticed some changes behind me. I finally framed the Cutie Cinderella newspaper from 9/11, the morning of 9/12, the newspaper right there. The newspaper that covered 9/11. It's now officially sitting behind me. I moved the North Korean.
He moved the North Korea poster. He put 9/11 burning. The towers, keep going. The towers are burning there. And now
in place of the fan art.
Next to
We're going to find a new place to put all the fan art. Don't you worry. Okay. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs, that's a PSA 10, by the way.
That's
that
his
9/11 poster, or not, the 9/11 news article is a PSA 10.
Pat, he's proud. Like he said, America deserved 9/11. I want everybody out there, this wannabe cosplaying communist, dressing up like another dude, okay? As a New Yorker, Pat, as a veteran, he thinks it makes him look cool. He's trying to be edgy, okay? 3,000 innocent Americans, New Yorkers, died. He thinks it's cool. And by the way, he's so unoriginal. Dressing up like Mao, idiot, loser. And then guess what? The whole Nick Fuentes style, he's taking his style. Wearing a suit. He thinks he's trying to be funny, Pat, and push people towards the edge. It's not funny. It's pathetic. It's cringe. And that's the party. This is the future of the Democratic Party. He's doing speeches in colleges. It's the AOCs, it's the Mamdanis, and it's him. And it's this guy, Pat. And it drives me absolutely nuts that more people aren't furious about this type of freaking moron.
Can I respond to Vinny when I get a second?
Of course, go for it.
Vinny, I 1,000,000% appreciate everything you're saying and your passion. I just don't think America is going to fall for this. Yes, you may be right. The Democratic Party, it may be too late for them. It may be. We'll see. We'll see if they come to their senses. But I don't think America is falling for this. In America, you think they're going to appreciate someone who's glorifying the Twin Towers coming down? I just don't buy that nonsense. And if we do, we've lost our country anyway.
But Adam,
so my opinion.
Okay.
So hold on.
Okay.
So my opinion is this is a fad. The Democratic Party might fall for it, but the average American isn't falling for this.
Adam,
nonsense. It's really the definition of, does the future look bright or does the future look bleak? And you already know what
Adam, you heard me talking about the devil earlier. If I told you 5 years ago, New York City would freaking elect a pro-jihadist, communist, freaking wife tweeting, celebrating October 7th, you would laugh in my face. And so I think you're sleeping on this disgusting movement, Adam. And I'm telling you right now, we should be taking it way more serious than I think giving Americans this much credit, because they're acting like they're so mad and Trump is the worst president ever just to spite they're going to do it.
This is the greatest time for socialists to impose themselves. The greatest time. You have so many stats. First-time home buyers age is at 40. Okay, first time. You got birth rate 1.58. You got people that are delaying getting married. You got economy right now with prices that you see happening with the war, gas price. This is such an if I was a socialist, this is a dream time. Dream time, because the big scary guy is going to get out the way as well, and he is such an easy guy to attack. Such an easy guy to attack because of TDS. This is a dream situation for a socialist. Dream situation for a socialist to go. And by the way, let me tell you what's the only bad thing. The only bad thing is the election can't come soon enough.
Yeah.
Not later. Because the longer the election takes, the more shit's going to break in New York. The more shit's going to break in California. The more numbers are going to be there for people to show, look, this doesn't work. So the benefit Republicans have is they have to get every data New York City has since Mamdani got in. They have to get every data California has since Newsom got in. They have to get every data, 24, 25, 26, 27. They can't use 27 because it'll be 28. But this is going to be a very, very, and by the way, I like what, I don't know if you guys saw what Rubio said. Rubio was being asked about, the election, and he says, you're being a troublemaker. You're pitting us against each other. Rubio,
JD,
I don't know if you saw that or not.
I just saw it. With JD Vance, they're asking him.
He says, you're being a troublemaker, asking us a question like this. There's no problems with us. Trump's the main negotiator. He's handling all this stuff himself. Yeah, here, I'll send it to you if you want to check your text. I just found it. Let me see if it's not.
So, Pat, you're basically saying we shouldn't sleep on them at all. Zero.
Sleep on them.
Take the enemy serious, because Adam, at the end of the
Nobody's
day,
sleeping on these
they
people.
are the enemy. I don't care what anybody says.
Nobody's
They're
sleeping
not really
on
unified.
these people.
Benny, your passion is correct. Your points are correct. But I'll tell you, there's two things that I liked. I liked hearing what Van Jones said. Van Jones will say things that really upset me. But do I respect Van Jones as a person? Yes, I do. I don't agree with him on everything, but he is objectively looking at it from his side. And let me translate for you. Damn it, we're not unified, and there's part of my own party that kind of freaks me out. That's the same thing that Bill Maher is saying. Mm-hmm. So they are not all unified hunky-dory. And what Pat said is correct. I mean, I am watching things like Kalshi's primary hub. You can go to Kalshi elections, look at primaries. They've got all this data that's coming up. And finally,
they got very good data on that.
Very
site.
good data. And it's a new hub that they have out there. Yeah. Watch the data. What Pat said is correct. Shit's going to break. Stuff's going to fall over. And on the other side, I call Van Jones and his Jewish grandmother and Bill Maher as rational liberals. I don't agree, and I get really upset when I hear him say certain things. I do. But do I see rational liberals and go, I guess everything's not perfect and unified on their side of the street now, is it?
After Van Jones' Jewish grandmother?
I can't.
No, I'm saying
Adam in Jerusalem.
I'm saying I didn't go after his Jewish grandmother.
I would leave her alone.
No. What Adam? I got no. My point is, people look at Van Jones and think he's a communist that parachuted from somewhere. He's not. He was raised in a certain background.
Let me go back on this. Listen, for those of you guys that follow politics as sport, it's gonna be sick. It's going to be sick. Our election night, the one we do in 2028, when we host the event, it's going to be ridiculous. If you think the last one was magical, we had 2,000 plus people. I don't even know what we're going to do for 2028. And I'm not even selling tickets. It's 2.5 years from us. Okay, it's not even like we're doing it. But all I'm going to tell you is going to be insane. I want you to watch this Rubio moment. Watch this Rubio moment when he's asked reporter asked about him and J.D. Vance. Look at the way I don't even want to get thoughts on this. I just want the audience to see it because I like the way he handles himself. Go ahead.
Republicans who have said They want you to take over the Iran negotiations. They trust you. They think that you will prioritize Israel's interest, and they're attacking Vice President Vance.
Who are these prominent Republicans?
Senator Sheehy, the Wall Street Journal opinion page. There's people.
Well, that's not Republican. That's a newspaper.
Well,
yeah, you're a troublemaker with these questions.
It leans right
no.
away.
Look, guys, listen. Here's the bottom. You know who the lead negotiator is? His name is Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States. That's who dictates our policy. He has a team of people that work together on this. We all have a role to play, depending on what the topic is. We have very good negotiators in Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. We have the Vice President of the United States, which is the second highest ranking official, which tells you how the importance we've given this file. Obviously, I have a role to play. The Department of War has had a role to play. That's how we approach it. This doesn't, I mean, it's a combined effort, and it always should be.
Do you wish people didn't endorse you to take over the talks yourself?
I mean, you're telling me about that, but that's not how our system works. That's not how this administration works. It starts at the top. The president is in charge, and he has a team of people that provide counsel and provide.
He's an OG.
The way he
There's
handles
something
himself.
He's
I
a pro.
love the way he
He
handles
doesn't take no
himself,
bait.
guys.
He doesn't take any bait.
And I like the way he called him a troublemaker at the beginning. He was very, come on, you're being a troublemaker.
Yeah, but he did it in a very respectful way. I like the way he handles himself.
He is so smooth,
He is.
Pat. When's the last time he said anything you're like, no, totally disagree with Rubio? He's just built for this.
No
and
one's
I don't want him to
perfect.
peak
I don't
too
want to
early.
put that kind of.
No,
I don't want to put that kind
I'm
of.
not saying that.
I get that.
But he is so skilled, man, and it's great to see him work.
I hope DeSantis is working on a marketing team behind closed doors. I hope they're working on a marketing team behind closed doors. One more time. I hope DeSantis is working on a marketing team behind closed doors because he's formidable. And this is his year, not 24. 28 is a great year for DeSantis to also get in there. Anyway,
Pat.
I hope the marketing team is doing something.
PBD, I don't want to fight with you.
Take it easy, Adam.
Changing of the approach, but
I don't think so.
I hope he's doing something. Now that guy's he's a doer. It's very hard to find doers. Very, very hard. Problem he has is he doesn't care to talk to people. He just kind of wants to do the work. He wants to do the job.
Got it.
He needs to. He's got it, but he doesn't want to do the marketing. Anyways, we'll see. Okay, let me get to the next one. ESPN. Did they all of a sudden become conservative? What happened to ESPN? What happened to the woke, BLM, everything being about politics? Apparently, eventually, this guy named Bob that, has been running that organization for a while called Disney says, hey, guys, no more politics. Please, let's just talk about sports. They fire Ryan Clark. They fire Carl Ravitch. I'm upset about that one. They fire Cam Newton and a bunch of other guys. Then they renew Tebow's contract, conservative. Then they go out there and say, Pat McAfee. There's talks of Pat McAfee getting paid $65 million a year. He's about to get that contract. Some people are speculating, saying the reason why why all these people are getting fired is because they're trying to save money to pay Pat McAfee all the money.
Funny.
Everyone's getting fired, and there's a very special moment between Pat McAfee and Ryan Clark. I don't know if you've seen that one or not. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. And they're saying this was the final point where they said, we're done with this. There's 3 other clips because of this, but I want you to watch what Ryan Clark did. The one thing you're not supposed to do, but he does right here. Go for it.
This morning, are you feeling, okay, you look at A.J. Brown, which is this number 1 wide receiver who got 1 target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb.
But that's the,
when was the one
Straight,
target?
that's the target,
But
though.
I'm saying,
when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying A.J.
outside
Brown
leverage.
had a better day than CeeDee Lamb?
But you know what you wake up saying, though? A.J. Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course.
Right, like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this, though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop. That's, CeeDee Lamb is
let me tell you why. I'm not
Peter
saying
Schrager's a fair guy.
Ryan, I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Okay.
what I need for you to do.
By the way, so that right there, you know what that means,
That's
right?
like, yo, we play the game.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. That guy's the lead of the show, isn't he?
And then what he said about RG3's wife, because he's married to a white girl, and he called that RG3. And then there was another comment he made about C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young when it was like, hey, defending the other side, and some unverified reporting that he did regarding an incident involving LSU's Casey Kieran Lacey contradicting officials. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I think this is the one. Yeah, play that clip right there. That's the clip about
who have chose to
go back
to what black women deal with a lot from black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over black women by denigrating black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past.
You can pause it right there. So you know what he's saying, because RG3's wife, can you type in RG3's wife? You just do it on Google. You can do it on Google. RG3's wife, if I'm not mistaken, is RG3. Just put 3 next to the J. RG, not J. RG. He's having nightmares about RG. Yeah. RG3 wife. Go to images. Okay? That's his wife. So he's saying he married someone who's not black. And RG3
hey, good
like,
for him.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
He married a dime piece.
By the way, check this out. Do you have the clip of Marcellus Wiley? Do you have the one I sent you about Marcellus Wiley? If you go on the text, you'll see the one with Marcellus Wiley. Man, this is Ryan Clark's having a hard time here. It happens to all of us every once in a while. Marcellus Wiley comes out and says something, and he says, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Didn't you have a kid with a white girl? Do you know Ryan Clark has a kid with a white girl?
No.
So he says,
weird.
You didn't know this? Yeah, so Marcellus Wiley says, dude, you had a kid with a white girl. Imagine that white daughter has to sit there and hear the daddy saying you married outside of your race. You got a white girl pregnant. You got a white girl pregnant. Do you know how to spell Marcellus Wiley? Tom, do you know how to spell Marcellus? Yeah, I'm trying to
help him.
Yeah.
It's with a C,
needs to know how to spell Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley, if you type in Marcellus Wiley, you just have to see this. Anyways, they're having this exchange.
No, not Wiley. Oscar Wilde was an author. Oh my God.
I love him.
We could just have
there you go.
Okay,
Marcellus Wallace.
Take that. No, take that.
Welcome to the Typo podcast.
Take that, put it on Twitter, and go to Ryan Clark. Type in Ryan Clark next to it. Ryan Clark next to it. Okay, and Clark is a K, but it's okay. Clark, there you go, next to it. And you will see here in a minute. Go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower with Whitlock. Okay. Anyways. I'll find the clip and send it to you. The guy got a white girl pregnant, and he had so he's got a daughter that's half white, half black.
Yeah.
And so ESPN, the question is, are they leaving? Are they going back to common sense and stop doing all this political stuff? That's a question, Vinny.
But he also said, I'll just add to this because I know Tom has a strong opinion on it. He said, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning are not generational talents.
Yeah, he did say that.
Plain and simple. You don't know what you're talking about. And that, listen, I love the fact, Matt, that, Stephen A. has ESPN. He talks about sports. He has a podcast that he talks about the political stuff and all that stuff. When it comes to the sports and stuff, people don't want to hear the nonsense. Keep it about sports. And listen, at the end of the day, and even Stephen A., to stick up for Stephen A. said, hey, he even tried. He's like, yo, y'all need to keep him. Keep Ryan Clark. But he said there's people that are up there, the bigger people that are making the big decisions, that are, once they made the decisions, it's a wrap. And, I hopefully he gets a freaking another job somewhere else. I think he'll be all right.
Adam, where are you at with this?
Man, rest in peace to that guy's career right there. But Carl Ravitch, the baseball guy, Pat?
Yeah.
That's tough right
that's
there.
Tough.
When I think of baseball,
I agree.
I'm just saying, I know Tommy, you're a baseball game. Anyway, regarding Ryan Clark and this whole identity politics things, is it me, or are we just kind of over this stuff? The end racism in the end zone? Like, you ain't going to end it with the touchdown dance, guys. I just think America is so over the identity politics and the race and what sex are you, the gender, or did you mispronounce my gender, misinformation? Like, I just think American is so over this. And whether it's like the militant black dude or the trans lady that's trying to have dudes and women's sports from every end of the spectrum, I just think, like, are you good at what you do? Are you likable? Do people want to rock your jersey? Do you put butts in seats? And do you win at the end of the day? So I think America's kind of over the race baiting and identity politics stuff.
I found a clip.
And just
I want you to
There you
watch this
go.
clip with Marcellus White. No, not that one. I sent you the clip. If you go to your text, I send you the clip. Did you get it or no? Tell me if you got that. There you go. All right, we found it. Marcellius Wilkerson. Okay, go ahead, play it.
Good analyst. I ain't gonna lie to you. He kills it. But I put all that to the side, but this is what I can't get over. This is what triggers me. He's a race baiter. But worse than a race baiter is the type that we all grew up with that turned into that guy. Usually that guy got an identity issue. You know, he might be mixed. He might be a little light-skinned. He may have been questioned his whole life. You know how it goes. But Ryan Clark wants to be a race baiter when he got a white baby mama, a black and white kid, and then want to look at everything through an all-black lens. You literally are telling your own child half of her ain't it.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, dog, this is just damaging to the people. Whether it's my people, your people, all people, human race, culture, this is just stupid. I hate when people got it. My wife is biracial. She's Nigerian and Dutch. And boy, when I met her and she was like, I'm black, I was like, and? She was like, what? Like, and? Come on, you Nigerian and Dutch. You ain't even like African American. Your ass is African. Like, you know what I mean? Give us some love. I'm just saying, call it like it is.
You can pause it. So to me, listen, I hope ESPN goes through the evolution that they're going to go through. And by the way, if a Ryan Clark is that interested in politics and political issues, get into it.
Yeah, do that.
He was making $2 million a year. Get into it. Maybe. And by the way, you know what I actually like about the way Ryan Clark handled it after he got fired? He posted a message. This is a weird way I'm giving him credit. If you go to his Instagram account, the day he got fired, you know what he did? He says, this morning I found that I'm getting fired. I went to the gym. I did my workout. I did whatever I do as my usual day and went about my business. Okay, so which means he's a doer. He's a winner. You don't make it in the NFL and, go a little bit lower. I think he posted it on X, go a little bit lower. Which one was it stronger than his? I don't know which one it was, but he posted it that he just went to the gym, did his workout right after he got fired. So, which means he's got the right attitude to move on and do his own thing. But at the same time, the audience is just getting a little bit too tired of this BS. Adam.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you actually gave him credit because
he's
sounds
actually
like
good. He's actually good at what he does.
He's a stud, man. He's a stud. He was a great player. He's a great speaker. He's entertaining. But just maybe you switch it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Say that switch up.
Yeah.
America's over the identity.
All right, let me get to the next
politics
story.
thing.
Next story I want to get to is I'm trying to see which one do we go to. Do we go to this? Let's go to this hiring story, Tom, because I'm actually curious to know what you're going to say about this hiring story, where people are sick and tired of doing these interviews. Let me see if I have it or not. Where is this one with the hiring story? What page is it on? I just had it. Where is that page? Tom, did you delete
12.
it?
Page 12.
Why did Tom delete it? Here we go. Here's the story.
Tom.
It's
Don't
incredibly,
blame it on Tom.
It's incredibly disrespectful to do a virtual job interview by phone, but Gen Z is doing it anyway. This is a Market Watch story. How many guys are doing job interviews with a phone? Oh, hi, sir. And it's like moving, and you're trying to track, and you watch the interview.
Like the guys in court.
Let me read this to you. So I'm curious to know if everybody else is kind of on the same page with this. It's incredibly. Is it this one? Okay, there it is. Gen Z job candidates are increasingly using smartphones for virtual interviews, and a trend that has sparked debate about professionalism. Career coach Melissa Marcus, a former recruit of 20 years, called it incredibly disrespectful, noting the vertical format makes candidates appear on a small screen like FaceTime. TikTok influencer Sophie Rocha went viral after posting about a candidate who interviewed by phone, writing, "She lost faith in our generation but the choice reflects deeper shifts. Most Gen Zers grew up with smartphones. The iPhone debuted when the oldest were about 10, and 90% of U.S. households own one versus 81% with a laptop. Lower income candidates are far more likely to have a phone than a computer. Career coach Lindsay Bocardo, who works with Gen Z, said this has more to do with the technology they grew up with rather than a sign of respect or not. So, Tom, where are you at with this? If you do an interview and somebody's on their phone, do you take them seriously?
No. And you know what's really funny?
Tell me.
You can turn a phone sideways and you can lean it against a coffee cup and you can stand up straight, even against a backdrop in Starbucks, and say, hey, Tom, I'm sorry, I'm at a Starbucks. I hope it's quiet enough here. I had to step out of my office because it wouldn't be appropriate to have an interview. We're here during work hours, 1 in the afternoon, because I'd like to interview for this position. I've had somebody say that to me. And you know what I say about that? I respect it. I respect it. But if you're just holding the phone, walking down the hall or something, very nice to meet you, and then you sit down, there is it. So they grew up in the vertical format because they got to post on Instagram. I get that. But there's also certain things to sit down and to be taken seriously. And communication skills are lacking. Oh, they can text and abbreviate and talk, but there's a lot of Gen Z, this digitally native generation, and I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. There's a lot of smart people here, but we need to teach them about person-to-person communication and etiquette when you're looking for a job and somebody wants to trust you with running or being or impacting part of their company. And so I think there is a generational thing here. I don't sweep them all over into a stack, Pat, but I have experienced it, but I've also experienced them saying, hey, it's the middle of the day. I had to step aside here, and this is where I can take the interview. And I respect when they tell me, because they had no other choice, and they stepped away to take a break because they wanted a different job.
I mean, Vinny has a good point. Vinny, do you want to show him a case study to see what's wrong with that, Tom?
So guys, anytime you're FaceTiming or doing all that stuff, this is a video from a while ago.
Oh, this is fantastic.
A man with a suspended license shocks the judge by driving during a Zoom court appearance. Can you play this?
Oh, this is...
Are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
Brace for it.
All right. What are we doing? So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license. I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Hey, my bad, Judge. My bad, Judge.
Anything, Zoom, FaceTime.
That's just double dumb. That's all that is. That's just your dumb. But to me, when you're getting
now, let's
go
to Jeffrey Toobin.
When you're getting a job and you're trying to get a job, all you're trying to do is make a great first impression.
Yep.
And a great first impression is what? Did you shave? Shave. Do you have gel in your hair? No, fix your hair. Do you put on some makeup? Put on some makeup. Do you have, a nice outfit you have on? Put a nice outfit on. Do you have a nice shirt and a tie? If you don't, wear something nice. Yesterday, I interviewed this lady who was in New York, and she's applying for a very heavyweight job that we have. It's a very important job.
VP.
Extremely presentable, very professional, very sharp, handled herself incredibly well. The moment we got off the interview, I told Tom, I said, I really like the way she presents herself. So guess what? Look at the phrase. My first word to Tom was, I really like the way she presents herself because she's going to be presenting us to others. Yep. So if that's how she's presenting herself to us, imagine how she's going to present herself to others. Unlike Adam, who is a professional Uber driver, unemployed, where he decides to go to places in Israel that the audio doesn't work, and eventually they got a hold of an Assyrian and an Armenian that helped them fix it. Eventually,
we out here.
The nukes are so bright, he has to wear shades.
To me, it's all about how you present yourself. If you present yourself that you don't care, you're not going to care for the job. Why would I hire you? So I do think it's very, very important for people to be thinking about how they're going to be presenting themselves while they're doing a job. Let me give you another one here that I really like with careers that is in the story. So the Chipotle CEO, job involves taste testing guacamole, has a simple hack for finding your dream job. You ready? Here's how to find your dream job. I want to be on this story for a couple minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. So Jason Kidd, we did a story on this guy a week and a half ago. Not that Jason Kidd. It's the Chipotle COO, Jason Kidd. Apparently, they've hired a PR firm, and his name is everywhere lately. Former Taco Bell executive spends his days taste testing food and visiting locations weekly, a role he calls his dream job. His advice for finding yours: don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Just say yes. Even to jobs that don't sound easy or exciting, do the job that someone else doesn't want to do. He said, take the opportunity, move, be uncomfortable. Early in his career, Kidd volunteered for management training programs that involved 4 a.m. closing and overnight shifts while peers worked mid-shift. He finished faster and was promoted first, not because he was the smartest, but because he gained the most experience the fastest and saw how every part of the operation worked. Kidd also stresses strong communication with the start, saying owning outcomes and giving good feedback is one of the 4 traits he looks for when promoting workers. So I'll give you a story. I used to work at Bally Total Fitness for a guy named Robbie Solomon. I know his number till today. I can recite his. I'm not going to give it. Well, imagine if I tell people, go
Call
text
him.
Robbie real quick.
Robbie.
His photos start blowing up.
7,000 text messages. And I left Bally's and I went to start my own startup, technology company. We were selling personal profit portals. And I was doing that for about a year. Well, guess what? A year later, I'm in debt $49,000. I lose everything. And I come back and I say, Robbie, I need a job. I go from being a superstar in the company, coming up, who's going to be a GM, supervisor, all that stuff. He says, the only job opening I have for you, buddy, is opening Hollywood's club. I said, yeah, no problem. What time does the club open? He said, well, you open a club at 4 o'clock. I said, yeah, 4
p.m. is great.
He says, you open a club at 4 a.m. I said, Robbie. He says, yeah, you just got to be you're the morning manager. So I said, Robbie, when do people buy? I was one of your top 10 best salespeople nationwide after only being with you for 3 months at Bally's. Why are you putting a great sales guy in the morning? He says, it's the only job I got for you, buddy. And he would, buddy. He was a buddy guy. He would use that
Hey,
word.
pal.
Yeah, he was a buddy. You know the pal guys?
Like,
This guy's a buddy guy. So I go in, and who comes in? When in your life have you gone to buy membership between 4 to 12 o'clock in the morning?
Never.
Who the hell? That was a shift he gave me. Okay? So I went in, said yes, no problem, got the job from there. You know, later on, other opportunities, went in. Every time I would get caught reading a book. What are you reading now? You think these business books work? I said, I think they do. He says, look how you ended up back in, you're in debt. These big books don't work. They just write these books to make money. You know, all these guys are scam artists. They just write the books. The way they make their money is by you buying their books, and that's how they make their money. I'm like, look, man, I'm reading the books. I'm on my break. Let me read this book, whether it's Multiple Streams of Income or whatever books, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, all these weird books, you know, I'm reading. If you can be somebody that's doing that, you're going to get so many opportunities. Yesterday, we're offsite here in Rhode Island. I make a video to send to our guys back at home, and I have the book of the month this month that we're reading. Can you pull up the book called The Goal? The Goal. The Goal. Goal. There you go, The Goal. And can you go to the top left picture of that? Go to the top left. Well, go to this one. This book right here. You know how many copies this book has sold? Can you go on the picture real quick? Can you zoom in a little bit to the bottom right? Over 10 million copies sold. Okay? Eliyahu Goldratt. This book was written many, many years ago. Anybody that reports directly to Jeff Bezos is required to read this book. If you work with Musk or others, you're required to read this book. If you're watching this right now, you've never read this book, go on Amazon and buy this book. I don't own this book. I'm not the author. I recommend every one of our employees this month, the book of the month is this book here. You'll see why. So what this Jason Kidd, the CEO of Chipotle, is talking about, I fully agree with. There's a reason when people always put their hands up, I'll do it. The level of reliability that individual becomes, the CEOs see that things get done through them, they get more opportunities. So I fully agree with what Jason Kidd is saying here in regards to that. And we're going to finish up on that note because we got to wrap up the podcast. So it's been great spending time with you guys. Gang, we're going to do it again next week. Monday, we get back in Florida. We've had great times at Rhode Island. We went to this restaurant called Jesse's Girl Hotcakes. Incredible. That what you ordered that day at the corner of, what was the street? Corner of Preston and
Maine.
Oh,
Preston and Maine.
Tom met this guy at Rhode Island. He wouldn't stop talking to the guy about data and stats and analytics, and they just became best friends.
Yep.
And we had a debate about where's the best breakers, here in Rhode Island or in West Palm Beach. It was kind of funny.
Anyways, have a great weekend, gang. We will do this again next week. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye, bye-bye.